I'm trying to set this camera up. Not getting very good angles. Is it better? Does it look like I'm looking down? Okay. Hello. Happy Eid, everyone. Oh my God. I've been up like all night and then up throughout the morning, early morning prayers. It's crazy. Then ate with the family till noon, then was able to finally get some sleep, couple hours, and now waking back up again. 1 second, please. Let me just send a message to somebody who's congratulating me. Um, I'm gonna share some pictures with you guys later for the national, the Jordanian national dish on Eid, like a day like today. Hey, Pete, how are you doing? Um, so yeah, the national dish we're eating in the afternoon. You guys will. Whew, it's such a crazy meal. It's the national dish of Jordan in special occasions, and I'll show you guys pictures later of it. It was a wonderful moment. How are you guys doing? Where's everybody with the hype, huh? My man, Pabloco, the inspiration. Pabloco, you inspired me so much to keep looking into this Discord things, and it's coming on the way soon, soon, my friends. And now you even inspired me to even try to up the game here to get even better software, different software, just to get things going and try to host. I have this idea of I want to host all of you guys in here on different calls where everybody can talk. Um, because we all know each other by now in this family because we're still tiny still. um, it's beautiful. I feel like it's be a great thing for all of us to chat, at once. Forks, welcome. How are you doing? How are you guys? I know it's odd, isn't it? It's been a long time since you can see hookah and um, and you see my coffee at the same time before sunset. I'm pouring coffee, a lot of it now. You guys, any of you guys had any um, Turkish coffee with cardamom before? It comes like this, like in shots. Um, so, what are your thoughts on the market so far for today? Huh? What happened to all the people that were hyping like crazy? Thank you, Forks. It is great. Oh, chai tea with cardamom. Pabloco, you know what you're talking about. You're a man of mystery, Pabloco. Got great taste in music. Um, you're an inspiration, and you got a lot of hidden gems in you. I liked you know today I liked Mara's up move 6%, riots as well. I really liked how what happened today. Actually, what showed me with AMC is that before the final bell or whistle, they were able to technically bring it down to the 1426, I believe, or 1496. Couldn't look too extensively on the market today because of Eid and the celebration, but today, yeah, it was the low of 1461. RDBX did go crazy today, and Yeah, Redbox. Sorry, I'm thinking of it the same thing. um, be careful, Pabloco. Be careful with RDBX, guys. RDBX was shorted like crazy. Now, obviously, what I mean by be careful, as in it could go either way. It could go really parabolic. So protect your bases. That's what I'm trying to get to, Pabloco. Protect your bases. Try to make sure you're over leveraged, because definitely shorts have been covering, and you do not want to be caught up on that falling knife when when it falls down. I'm looking at the how's it going? Um, Ratch. Is that how I pronounce it? Did I pronounce it right? Rack or Ratch? How are you doing? I love that picture, portfolio picture. Um, RDBX. Yeah, as I was looking at it last, if you look at the 1 year chart on that, this thing has some ways to go. I mean, it did reach a strategic top, which was at the 868. And did it break it today? It did. It went up to the 11, obviously. So the next stop for it, untechnically, and when it reached that 8 and 11, it zoomed and came back down. So something brought it down. Yeah, it's like I said, Pabloco. It's in the. How are you doing, Lisa? Welcome. Um, yeah, RDBX is at that level where it's gonna break. It's gonna break $18 or $19 if it does go up to the upside, and there's no shorts, that are still that are completely covered, and now it's time to go back down. I don't see that because all I see is green and a bunch of buying. So I still see it being in a safe zone. But right now, you're approaching really dangerous territory. It's either going to go parabolic and blast out of the moon and go way past 19, $20. That's AB's analysis for you on that. Or obviously, if all the shorting is done and now the float is completely um, repurchased and it's a very small float. So you got to remember, if other apes sell as well, and all the shorts is covered, then that is very, very scary. Yeah, that is very scary. And you got to also remember, as far as the play itself and the company. I know, Pabloco, you know your stuff and you do your due diligence, but you got to remember, Redbox um, is a company that the original frame or the fundamentals of the play or the company are a dying trend. It's a company that's going to die. There is no, I don't, I mean, everything, people are used to getting things to them. And Redbox just doesn't have any technology that basically competes with anything in today's world. So unless something weird comes out of nowhere where somebody purchases them out, like Netflix or something, like buys them out, um, but I don't understand for what, because they already have, again, today's world, the ideology of watching things or getting things are different, completely different. So yeah, again, it's a good play if you're in. Enjoy. Don't over leverage yourself. Again, not financial advice, but don't over leverage yourself to a point where if you leave yourself in there, leave yourself to be exposed to the potential profits, but don't leave yourself to be exposed for maximum risk to where you get completely obliterated off the planet. Again, remember why you're doing this for, right? It's not to gamble or YOLO, unless it's AMC or GME. Then again, I don't know what I'm talking about. KJW, how's it going, my friend? Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay away now. I need my dry powder for AMC dip. Uh, Great thinking, Pabloco. Again, you've seen from today, guys, what I saw on the market. As I told you, when there was a lot of hype going into the weekend, they need that stuff. They thrive in that. These hedge funds, they thrive. I told you guys this before. They thrive in those grounds because they know it's about 3 days. Because counting Friday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days to leave you guys to harness on this excitement. It on those 3 days, your level of your level of excitement goes right crazy through way through the roof, like to the point where people wanted Friday to skip straight to Monday. We didn't want Saturday, we didn't want Sunday, we didn't want none of that stuff. Um, and that's what they do, you know. What I saw today on the market is that the stock they were able to drop it to 1466. Yeah, it held its own, but at the end of the day, and it rebounded toward the end. But that's the point of it. That's what they do. This is how they lay out bull traps. um, the point is they were able to break another level of support, which means you can expect a lower end, um, a lower price target sometimes really soon. That's AB for you guys. That's my output on AMC for today. As far as for that, we got a little more to talk about. Who else we got in here? T Andrews 68. How are you doing? Good afternoon, my friend. What does the SPY look like for tomorrow? Let's see. I looked at it today, and let's see what it looks like for tomorrow. Okay, it tried to rebound. So here's the thing. As far as from now until the 4th, all these plays are going to be in a consolidating zone, like in where it's down 0.25%. Like today, it was up 0.60%, which obviously that's for hedging purposes. Market maker is doing a very fine job. Um, Basically today, people just about, unless if you waited until the end of the business day, you basically lost money, because no matter whether you're on the call side or the options or the put side, because the extrinsic value is being killed, time is being basically killed off your option, whether it's put or call. But if you were playing the SPY throughout the day, if you could see, I mean, there wasn't a lot of margin or room for profits too much, but it did go from 405 to 415, which is like, it made that run toward the end of the market. It kept piling up. Two things: by the 3rd or the 4th, someone on the other side is going to know some things that we don't know, and they're going to react to it. And by the time um, the feds come out to announce their announcement, of course, everyone else would know on the other side, and they would have already taken positions, and we would be late to it. So in this case, um, the SPY is tricky in these particular moments like this. I would be really worried. Um, I think that from this piling up tomorrow and then tomorrow some adding, I would say a little more to the upside, but yeah, I would see that a little more to the upside, but I wouldn't be super worried to carry something on until Friday. Um, that's my output on the SPY for today. Again, this final rise that came, like a lot of buying in that came toward the end, that was a little unusual, especially for the SPY. I mean, reversals don't normally happen with the SPY exactly around that time in the day. This one is for all of you guys. Yo, Mickey J, the GOAT. Thank you. Thank you. How are you, my friend? By the way, Mickey, I seen your comment, and I'm going to address it in a second. Um, Adrian Fernandez, the legend. Okay, everyone, I know the market didn't go where we wanted it to go, but on a positive note, Mr. Awesome has arrived. Hi, Mr. Awesome. Well, that's always a positive note, my friend. You remember, guys, I was warning you throughout the whole weekend that you don't want to like play on the emotions that they push out, because it's going to change as the week begins, and toward the end of the week they always want to give you more hope for the following week, so they dish out something new. This is nothing new. You shouldn't be emotionally invested in this, because again, this is a stock market. It's not you know a hey, if, like me and I like you kind of situation or like platform, it's all about the money at the end of the day, and their target is to take as much from you so that they can make money. That's just how it works, and your job is to make sure that that does not happen, and it's the opposite is what occurs. Um, Now, unfortunately, because of all the connections and all the manipulation and abilities and the far reach that they have, they majority of the time are always going to be on the winning side. And unfortunately, they leave it into where retailers will eat away from retailers. So certain people will do certain things and they will make certain decisions to where when they do win, the institutes or the hedge funds already made their money. And when it comes down to us, it's eat dog kind of world. So yeah, at the end of the day, maybe the best man win. It shouldn't be like this, guys. Even Warren Buffett ripped them this morning about it. You know, like he ripped the whole Wall Street, saying like, you know, he's upset about how they turned the stock market into a betting parlor. And that is true. That is what it's been turned to. Like I'm telling you guys, before 2018, um, the market was nothing like this. And this is why I said take advantage of the volatility and the times we're in, because in a boring market in the years to come, um, I guarantee you, all of you will start looking for something else. Those of you who wants to still continue doing trades and stuff like that, and you're going to be looking at forex stuff like that, and that is something we can sit down and talk about soon. But I want to keep it until after the squeeze, because it is a world of its own. Um, it's completely in the world of its own. But profits in it are unrealistic. If you have a perfect strategy and you master this game that what we're playing here in the stock market, the forex will kneel down for you. Um, but you got to be careful because you could lose a lot more and much faster in the forex markets than this. But your gains is extremely way higher than stocks. It's just a much more sophisticated, a little more sophisticated world in a way, but a lot easier also in a certain way. Oh, I'm getting a call. 1 second.
معلم سامعك.
يا حبيبي.
يلا وانا يعني 3 minutes اكون عندك.
ماشي، هيني على اللايف هسه بطلع.
طيب طيب مع
يلا،
السلامة.
اول ما بتيجي احكي معي. Commercial break. Did you guys enjoy that? That was some Arabic for you. I got some. Um, I'll be honest with you guys. I just have in like literally 1 minute. I just have to give out some food uh, to someone who's coming to pick it up. It's a great time. People don't get this meal here, especially outside of the Middle East, too often. So God bless my mom who made this special meal today. I'll show you guys pictures of it later. So like when she makes it, I got so many people that will be like, please, let me have some and all that stuff. And it's good to keep people happy and make people happy in times like these. I love it. Oh, and now even my brother is calling. Ala,
عبود.
ايش؟
كل عام وانت بالف خير حبيبي.
وانت بالف خير، انت على اللايف معي واتساب.
او ماي باد خلص انا just wanted to say كل عام وانت بخير عشان الصبح جيت بس انت كنت نايم بشغومه.
يا I don't
I
know
know you slept.
ليش ما فيقتوني، بس يلا خلص برد احكي معك no problem.
يلا.
يلا حبيبي. See, this is Eid for us. Everybody calls everybody here, overseas, in Japan, in the Middle East, everywhere. Like, congratulations. Um, let's see where we at here. Um, Mr. Panulo, good evening, my friend. Adrian Fernandez is like, as having a master's in psychology, I don't easily get manipulated. I see through the tactics. All right, guys. One, literally, like, just give me like 30 seconds, okay? Stay in here. Enjoy the company of the hookah, okay? Try to at least. I know if it goes this way, you guys might puff from it, puff pass. Make sure you do that. I just want to hand this food out. It's at the door. I want to hand it out and come right back to you guys. You guys are being super nice by doing so because you're helping someone else get some food that they want. I am back. I am back. All right. Look at you guys. You guys actually waited. I expect nothing less from you guys. You guys are a great family. Usa. Okay. Where were we? Thanks for keeping that chat alive, Adrian, and everyone else. Baby, how tall is your hookah? How many chambers? One, two, three. It's I would say it's about 40, 48, 48 inches. I have a bunch of them, Adrian. This is just the one I like to use here at home. I have a bunch of them for different flavors. I don't like to mix different flavors in mine. That way, the flavor is always a very precise. Um, and the reason why I can also do that is because I have 55 hookahs sitting in my basement since I had the hookah bar. And then when I sold it, I took all my hookahs with me. I love how the MSM pushed out the Citadel made 77.5% profit in red market. but they never talk about how heavily naked shorted Citadel is on many stocks. Um, yes, that is true, Adrian, but you got to remember there is a lot of truth to that, by the way. Like, when it's FUD, I'll label it as such. And when it's not FUD, I will also give it its credit. Yeah, the media, you know who runs the media. So therefore, I understand why they're like all over them, all over Citadel. But there is a lot of truth to it because these guys make money on the upside or the downside in the red market. You know how many puts they have around, and this addresses also um, Mickey J, Mickey's comment earlier on my other YouTube video, as far as exotic options and how they work and all that stuff. Yes, I've seen the video from Al from whatever he is now, Boston or DC or New York, whatever. Um, he does. The guy has some info. It is true. He has some knowledge, but the I can't get along. I can't watch him for too long. I can't watch like I was just for you, Mickey. I was forcing myself to watch that video. The guy sees himself on retail like so much. He's one of those that hopes that he's a part of um, the big boys or the institute side or smart money. He just sees himself too much. He has too much of an arrogance, and knowing what he went through before and what he did is just now I'm like literally psychologically I'm almost 100% on the fact that he is what he is or what he did. um, it is true. I've always been saying that Citadel and King Griffin, like especially King Griffin, not so much of Citadel, but specifically King Griffin is always going to be good. I've always said that from the beginning. You OGs know this, but the fact that to say that he's not dumb, he's really smart and he's really intelligent and all that stuff, that statement I don't really agree with. Um, these guys just cornered the market with pure force. That's it. It's not geniusness or any of that. You know, give me or any of you guys any like just 5% of the advantages they got and watch what the hell we make with it. We all shit. So no one is like better than the other. Again, unless they were like they had this brain of like a Nikola Tesla or Leonardo da Vinci, then again they might be a little more smart than someone or another, but not to that level of being like sliving all over. I just love humbleness, guys. Anybody that sees themselves. Sorry, I'm pouring some of the coffee. As you can see, I'm pouring it outside the cup more than I'm pouring it in the cup. You take one shot of this coffee, and I guarantee you'll be up for however long you want. In more than in more than one realm too. Forks. Yes, here's another puff for you. That's the 1% for you guys. They push the fluff, but when it's facts and real, they get real hush hush. Yep. 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 How are you, Dana? What's up? Did you chase AB out of the room? No, Fernandez would never do that. He's family. Uh, I had to just drop off food, or not drop off, hand over food to a friend. Let's see. Look, yeah, yeah, Adrian would never do that. What's up, Nickel Slick? How are you doing, my friend? How do the Spanish measure things? The inshallah, enchilada. It worked on me. It worked on me. A real shisha aficionado. Yes, big time. And by the way, Mickey J, the term exotic options is something that obviously he made for himself, and it's kind of a way to make something sound super complex, or like super complex, versus you. If you remember, obviously you watched the video, that's why you told me about it. It's way more simple than that. It's extremely way more simple than that. You remember he was trying to explain the binary options, and he said, "Do you remember the part in The Big Short when, Selena Gomez was doing this and saying this and that?" And that's truthfully like how simple it is. He couldn't, like, as complex as he wanted to sound, or it was very easy. I mean, it's obviously just like the term is like kind of this described. Compound options. One over another, over another, another of another of another. And AMC Bigums did a much more wonderful job, by the way, guys. Um, and Boss did a much, and even Pantheon, of course, did much better job on, as far as like a video explaining these things. At the end of the day, you gotta find what you're gonna be like once you in the stock market, guys. If you have your web all over the place, unless you're a market maker, you're setting yourself up for an inevitable down or doom. And why I say that is because you're one entity. Market makers or institutes, they have teams of people, and each one, like, they have teams of divided on certain thing. This is for forex, this is for this is for the options, this is for this, it's so organized. And if you as a one man person try to do it, great job, you're going to benefit, you're going to profit, but at some point you're going to take a massive hit, and it's going to, as everything's compounded over you, one thing crumbles, your whole pyramid scheme is going to come down to its crashing on its knees. um, so what I'm trying to say to you or get to you is, grow, like, plant your seeds and then grow the tree of foundation, your foundation, and grow from there, from one place to another, to another, to another. And if obviously this is something you want to do in your life and as a career or whatnot, you can eventually become your own hedge fund. It doesn't have to be as obviously as big, and eventually it can become as big. um, this is how these guys became who they are, so I give them, to a certain extent, um, some credit. But at the end of the day, they had to do some illegal shady stuff along the way to get to the point that they're in. A lot, some of them, a lot of shady shit. Another one for you guys. Out from the sunken place. How do we not know what Al pumps out isn't rehearsed and script? Exactly. Like, the thing is, the guy came back and did not address anything that happened before. Isn't that something that's like of any worry to you guys? Like, who the where the hell does he think he live? Like, people want to know. um Obviously, like, your output, not you not saying anything, clearly indicates that, yeah, you are admitting that you did what you did. And um you're not even coming out to apologize, at least to say that I'm sorry about this, which means that you're not even ashamed of what you did. That's again, I'm not trying to switch it now. Our talk is about Al from DC now. It's very very weird. It's very weird. So is the GME stock split, KJW, the single biggest potential catalyst in the next 3 months, short of a crash? Um, Obviously, the haircut hype was overhyped. Yes, KJW. I want to warn everyone. You guys remember this. Those of you that were listening on Thursday and Friday. Well, Friday as in when the DTCC, but before that, it was the whole NSCC short killer. Look at how these two came one after the other. So NSCC came out, the regulation came out, and everybody started calling it the MOAS killer. To someone out there, obviously that meant like, okay, that's going to discourage retail investors. We don't want that, so we need to hype them up before the weekend comes, before the next week comes along. You got to remember, we're still in a bear market. When people say the dip before the rip, here's what that means. What in like in an explanatory way, the dip before the rip is not something that's just like a automatic. No, it happens because by nature, the entities that we're trying to squeeze versus the fact that they are doing the same thing, they're trying to squeeze us out of our own positions and force us to sell it, dump it, so that they can, if we dump our shares, by the way, guys, they will win the biggest war on financial, the Wall Street financial system in history. And the reason why I say that is because all the manipulation, all the synthetics, all the naked shorting, everything that is so compounded. It's like they're sitting with a nuke that's in literally in their laps. And what they're trying to do is somehow try to transfer it over outside of their home, so that when it blows up, it is bound to blow up. It can blow up somewhere else and not obliterate them. Now, here's the thing: we are holding the keys to that nuke. And yes, we think of it like this: we're not trying to press it and obliterate and destroy a lot of things besides just them. And they're trying to make sure that we don't. They're like hacking the software, like, no, 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 don't press that button. And the way that is happening is by you not selling your shares. When you're holding, they're not able to do that, but they're trying to get you to sell it because they're overly shorting and synthetically shorting, nakedly shorting the stock. The second people sell, dump their shares, that automatically like transfers into dumping so many shares on the stock, creating selling pressure, which means stock goes down, and eventually their shorts kick in on top, and they can possibly come out with, for sure, the biggest payout Wall Street has ever seen, financial history, but to their side, not to us. So that's the idea of the importance of the hold, because they need the shares. And I do agree with one thing from Al from DC, which is the fact that, if people are not selling, that's when prices go parabolic. Simple, because market makers and hedge funds need those shares. They need those shares so that they can execute, their exit. If there's no shares, then it's done deal. They're eventually gonna get margin called, and the reason why the dip before the rip is because they're gonna constantly keep selling off positions in other plays. Even when it comes down to it, they will sell all their position in Amazon, in a blue chip stock that will always be way more fundamental than any AMC or GME. This is just reality of it. But they will be so willing to sell that to have enough liquidity to cover the margin requirement before they would even, um, close their shorts on AMC and move on, or GME and move on. And that's why you see that when they sell, obviously there's other institutes on top that are selling their positions also in AMC and GME. So that brings the price down. Again, Credit Suisse selling 500,000 plus shares. Um, of course, it did create uh, so much selling pressure on the stock, and of course, it did bring the stock down. And I guarantee you that that short sell, or that sell, that dump, that 500 plus, was executed on the day that we went up to the 300, to the 30, 33, $34. And then suddenly we got, like, caught up at right there. And what happened was that, if my theory is correct, they processed those sales and they put a limit order selling as soon as it touches this, because that was a resistance level that we had on the chart itself. If we broke that level, we were on our way to our 48 to 50, 50, $52. Somebody had to rub or kiss somebody's ring to get those shares to drop at that resistance level so that it can seem like it was a technical thing. We reached resistance, we hit that ceiling, we dumped back down because it was just the resistance was so strong. So it came back down. Um, and then next thing the halt came illegally, completely illegally, obviously, the halt on the way back down, not on the way up. Um, and then that gave enough time to hedgies and market makers to compound a lot of sell orders and keep some buy orders on the side for a second, so that as soon as the halt reopened back up, all you saw was sell orders come through, which created furthermore more selling pressure on the stock, bringing the price down um, to the levels of safety for them. That's basically what just happened, guys. And that's why you got to stay grounded. As I keep telling you, don't fall for the hype. Stay grounded. Know what you're doing. Be okay with what you're buying. I'm never going to tell you whether to buy or not to buy or when to buy. Any price is a great price. Once you know that the potential payout is in the 3, 4, 5, 6 figures, who knows? I'm not going to put my input on that. But all those figures are possible. All of them are possible. Yes, 6 figures possible. I don't, no one can label me as FUD on that because it is possible. If everybody really holds and no one sells, it is possible. 100%. This talk about government shutdown, suspension of the stock and whatnot, um, people just basically have small imagination, and they have only been hip to the market for a couple of years, and that's probably why they say stuff like this. But if you look back at it, um, in times, you see that things like that easily could happen. Now to that level, it haven't happened yet, but this is why it's called or labeled as the mother of all short squeezes. Everybody got their finger tipped in this cookie jar from the other side and our side. Now it's just all about execution. We are, like I've mentioned before, we are in the playoffs time zone of this play. Let's see any questions in here. And by the way, KGW, you're correct. As far as the GME thing, anticipate, guys, that it's not going to be just like as quick. Like as soon as they announce, as I've told you guys before many times, please keep this in the back of your head or as a ring in your ear. It all comes down to when they announce will be the a date of execution. Because just like bbig has a record date for when they announce the dividend, they're going to give out, like they're going to announce the record date, and they will give after that record date a time that that's when the cutoff time will start, and they will issue out the dividend, right? Same thing with GME. It's going to be time. It's not going to be as soon as after the meeting. Even if it's approved, it's not going to be just like, oh, the next day, boom, we got this. If they do something where it's like, oh, in the beginning of 2023, that's when we'll be able to start with the new year and start with that new float of 1 billion shares, um, then there you go. The hedge funds have roughly 6 months to you know play in hot waters, or roam free in the waters until the last moment before. And I don't think that obviously they will cover um, or address this whole dividend thing or this stock split after, like, if this, for hypothetically speaking, if GME says 2023 January 1st, that's when we'll start and we'll have all the shares addressed and everything. DTCC will have enough time to reallocate all the shares that are out there in the market or in the stock. Um, yeah, they will wait until possibly December 28th, something like that. And they will go ahead and have a massive rally, and something like I can see it happen in some sorts like that, but not instantly right after the announcement in June. It all depends on when the board or when they announce that they will start with that thing. If they just keep it in the air like this and unknown after that meeting, then you're gonna keep thinking like possibly to next month, possibly next month. Who knows? what happened? Am I really that behind on comments? Where did I get? Um, Dogecoin was out way longer than SHIB was, and yet they coined, pun intended, the phrase that SHIB is the Dogecoin killer. Yet Doge is still relevant, and SHIB is under a half a cent. So, correct. Excuse me. Correct, Adrian. The thing is, SHIB is somewhat relevant, but Dogecoin is already implemented, and already you got a lot of um, institutes that are accepting Dogecoin. Even AMC is accepting Dogecoin as a payment. You can even pay Dogecoin in some places. You can pay your rent with Dogecoin. Tesla takes some sort of you know uh, Dogecoin. Obviously, not Tesla buys or vehicles, but just some of their inventory online. And even the Dallas Mavericks and Mark Cuban is getting it. But what that shows me is that they see the future and they're hoarding that future right now. That's why I keep telling you guys the like the crypto, as far as like Bitcoin being the mother and everything else after that follows. It's you just look at the actions of these institutes and let it speak for itself. Why would someone like a Mark Cuban give out free jerseys? I mean, if Dogecoin was useless or worthless, why would the Dallas Mavericks be accepting it? They could sell a jersey for regular cash for 200 online or 150 or 180, whatever. Why would they let someone pay them $150 worth of Dogecoin, which if it's worthless, they're giving away for free jerseys? It's because they see what it's going to come down to. And they see the turnaround. That $150 jersey that they're selling in worth of Dogecoin right now, it's going to be equivalent to selling that jersey for $1,000 soon, after the market completely crashes real soon. This is why I leverage myself with crypto, and I leverage myself with the crypto miner apps. And the reason why miner apps is because many of them are in a very, very, very solid position to, if they don't succeed on their own, they're going to be bought out. They're in a good position to be bought out. One of them is Mara. I'm really big on Mara, guys. I've said this before. Again, I'm not influencing anybody to go ahead and make open positions in it. Do your own DD and, bring it back. Come back, see what you bring back. Maybe you could save AB from a possible catastrophe to jump in that he does not see. Um, but that company could easily be purchased by a bigger dog who's trying to also um, hedge themselves against the inflation and the major catastrophe that's going to happen in the world in the near future, as far as a disastrous financial collapse. And that's the best place to get it, to get something like that. Nice YouTube thumbnail, Neo AB Investments. Sexy love. Adrian, I own a billion SHIB and tens of thousands of Doge. Give me a break. Oh, nice. Look at you. That's exciting, Fernandez. The only true killer of anything is the lack of faith that something has value. That is true. That's deep too, by the way. KV, how are you doing, my friend? And Adrian, AB, my point to the Doge and ship comment was that just because something comes out saying or climbing or claiming to be a killer doesn't mean it's true. It can say it's a killer yet be a box of kittens. No, that I was totally agreeing with you. That's my point as well, Adrian. I was actually furthermore adding to your point that is true. And in my way, I was saying that, like, look at the adoption of the coin. That's even more solidifying your point, for sure. No, 100%, I agree with you. Um, I'm also not saying that SHIB would not go nowhere, by the way, guys. I'm saying that you can do what you got to do. And obviously, if somebody has insider trading saying that this coin will get adopted by something or by some certain institutions, go for it. But look at it, guys. There's only so much that can be adopted. Let's make it make sense, okay? Um, as far as in the banking sector, in that world, in that realm, it's going to be limited easily to stuff like XRP. Yeah, in my opinion, I think is going to be the runaway favorite in that realm. Ripple and its energy costs, it's so much more powerful um, versus the potential um, profit on that thing because where it's at now and where potentially it can go. That one, obviously, ADA Cardano is I'm very bullish on that one. Gala, I'm very bullish on as well. What is happening May 4th? Harshan Gill, that's the day that one, the feds come out to announce what they're going to do with their monetary policy. And they're going to announce also April's numbers, I think on the 3rd. Um, and that's when I potentially see what is going to happen for the near future. Like from that meeting, I'm going to be able to gauge the rest of May and possibly beginning of June. Um, it's as simple as if they start unloading assets as they're saying, and as if they also say that they're going to also hike the rate another 50, then yes, I will be extremely bullish for the near future or about all our theories as far as the executive order and possible crazy squeeze in the mid-May to the first week of June. All that stuff will be revealed on May 4th. And AB's opinion, humble opinion, of course. Um, if none of that stuff go in effect that I just mentioned, no sell-off of their balance sheets, no hike rates, at least if 50 points are up, um, then yeah, we're in for another can kick down the road. The opposite happens, then yes, I am the most bullish on the events that's going to happen. Happy Eid al Fitr, AB. Thank you, Breeze. I appreciate you. Likewise to you. Okay, what news we got today for AMC? Leah the Lion. The news that AB has for you is that the stock broke down another level of support, which is basically it tested it, it broke it cleanly, and it bounced back up toward the end of the day, paving a way for a nice bull trap for tomorrow or by the end of the week. Um, it's obviously we didn't score a big win or any win in general last week in the option side. So tomorrow I would expect anything to be weird, like again bull trap. This is why most of the meme stocks bounced off at the end, toward the end after like 3 o'clock, uh, toward the last hour of trading in the power hour. And that's why I feel like tomorrow is going to be a red day, um, further trying to reach another support line down, pushing us down. So be careful, guys, with the weeklies. What is your Ethereum prediction? Do you see it getting to 50K a coin in the next couple of years? Okay, Harshan Gill, Ethereum, first and foremost, is definitely going to go much, much higher than where it's at right here. Okay. Now, as far as in the next couple of years, it all depends on what happens with the crash and how exotic the crash is, and also what happens to the adoption of the digital coin. Because if the crash happens, it paves the way for a digital coin to be adopted, which again, our brother Pantheon have marked a very good DD on this. And mentioned at the breakdown of it of how it can be forced, like they could be forcing this to go, um, you know, forcing this country and economy to go in that direction of you got no other choice. Now we have no other choice but to adopt the digital coin, the digital dollar. And if that's the week, or if that's the case, then yes, Ethereum, Bitcoin, those things are not going to go nowhere. I mean, those are the two that you mentioned, Harshan. are the two safest coins to be in out of all the other coins. Simply not going nowhere. A lot more for Bitcoin than Ethereum, simply because Ethereum has an unlimited blockchain. So like they can continue keep mining more and more and more and more and more. And that's if they do something to update that, then yes, I could see the crazy 50K. Um, but I don't see it. Like I can see Bitcoin reaching hundreds of thousands. Yes, easily. Um, but as far as for Ethereum, mm, it's hard for me to see that yet. I don't like I see it something probably reaching the 20K in the next couple of years, but it might take a little longer than that for higher than that. Again, that's just how I see it for now. Unless something else comes out, I don't know if Vitali comes out with something and upgrades something in the software, then yeah, and then that blockchain, then yeah. But then again, you see, Bitcoin has no actual competitors in its realm. Like it is the mother of all the crypto coins, and it is limited. There's less than 2 million coins to be mined out there. Um, Ethereum has competitors. It has XRP. It has Cardano. It has many other competitors in that realm. And this whole NFT system is the biggest thing to work for it because most NFTs are operating off of the Ethereum blockchain. But if that goes to crap, because we all know there's a lot of spam and scam in the NFT market, um, that could be the biggest crash of the crypto realm. Um, when all that is realized that it's crap, because the NFTs are basically, in other words, just like expensive art that rich people hold to compound their money and save it or against inflation or whatnot, because it holds its value and higher. But if it turns out to be a scam, or you get screwed on it, then you just dumped god knows whatever amount into something that is worthless now. Can you see AMC get into $10 this week? Harshan Gill. Sorry, Adrian. I'll read your comment now too. Sorry, I skipped. Harshan, the only time I could see AMC hitting 10 possibly is after the 4th, which is what, Wednesday or Thursday? I think it's Wednesday. You guys can please put it in this comment section if it's a Thursday or a Wednesday. But after that meeting, based on what they say, then yes, if they say all the things like, hey, we're not going to do this and we're going to keep it for a little longer and whatnot, then it will rebound a little bit, acting like it's connected to the market. But if they announce the opposite, like we are going to start unloading our assets at the end of this month, and we are going to hike the rates another 50 points or whatever, 25 points, then yes, it will drop in an effort that makes it look like it's tied up to the market. But remember, guys, we are tied up to the market because of all the people that are involved in it, like institutes above, who are not shorting us. They're just bought into the play, and their intentions were either to lend out the shares and make money or just to hold and benefit in the MOAS. Um, those when the market reacts, as far as Amazon dropping, Chewy, Shopify, other stocks are dropping, they will be forced, so that they don't personally themselves get margined. They will be forced to go ahead and also sell off some of their AMC shares and everything, and sell off some of their Chewy shares and Amazon shares and Microsoft shares and all that stuff, so they can stay relevant and not get margined. And eventually, to a certain level of dropping, that's when we as AMC or GME will go to a room of our own. It's kind of like when you go through the airport and they say, okay, you, okay, come with us. We need to talk to you in the room over here. Even though we're all the same, but those particular individuals form some sort of risk that the TSA can see based on running their background or something, and they take them to the side. That's who we are. We are along with everyone. We're the same like everyone, but in a certain point of dropping, that's when the powers that might that that are above, or these people, these entities, will reach a point where they had enough and they cannot continue selling off from here or there or here or there. They have to, you know, they can't write off anything else no more. The only thing they can write off is their name. So, and their company. So this is why I say we are not. It's complex with AMC and GME. We're a lot of people are saying we're tied up to the market. We're in the market, but we're really not. We are part of the market to a certain extent, but because we are over leveraged on, we're shorted. We're not just invested in. We are shorted, heavily shorted as well. As to a certain extent or to a certain point, that's when we go to our own class. We go into our own room, and that's when the pop bubbles, the bubble bursts, and all of you starts eating bananas and upload videos and pictures in the Fiji Islands. Fingers crossed. I would love for that to happen, of course. That's the idea. Um, Stop looking for the perfect match. Just use a lighter. I couldn't miss that one, Adrian. Adrian, Zippo, light the crypto. That's a is that a good crypto, Adrian? I haven't done much on it. When market crashes, can you see Bitcoin touching 20K? Harsan, I don't see that happening at all. I used to think that in the beginning, but I've changed my mindset on that because, and here's my receipt on that statement. The two biggest institutional holders in Bitcoin are MicroStrategies. You could do some research on that and see it, and Tesla. And those two bad boys, their coin average or base is either between 30 and 31,000. So the only way I could see Bitcoin touching under 30,000, even better proving the point, like I'm trying to say, not even 20, just 30, even 30, anything less than 30 is with these two guys either dumping it, Bitcoin, like massively at a much higher place, because they're not idiots. They're not in the business of loading up to 30, 31 and wait until it touches 30, 31 again. And they're going to be like, oh, we're afraid. No, 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 no. We don't want this. They don't trade based on emotion. If they think that that's what's going to happen, they would have dumped it off in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and even now in the upper 30s at the $38,000 level. Um, Clearly, they see where Bitcoin is going. And specifically, the biggest advantage here is that it's so limited and scarce. And again, there's less than 2 million coins to be mined. After that, you can only imagine what heights the coin will fly to, because supply and demand becomes an issue. Demand is going to be more or higher, but supply is going to be none unless people sell off or supply their bitcoins. And obviously, these I have a big belief that these companies or institutes are not in the business. They're not getting it. Even MicroStrategy said that. Like they came out and said that. Like, and even Musk himself said that. Like, I am not gonna be selling any of my bitcoins anytime soon. MicroStrategies made it super clear. I forgot their CEO name. Um, but he mentioned it. He said it himself. Like, we're not in the business. Like, we're not hoarding this to sell it anytime soon, and we're not going to sell it. And if their average is 30, 31,000, um, you can see right now, you see how terrible it is. Like when crypto drops, you see how Bitcoin has been consolidating for over a month now around that area. It's further proven, solidifying the case for me that this is its support level, like this strong support level. Again, if it drops under, I will be the biggest, most shocked person in the world. Straight up, I'll come make a specific video about it too. I don't think they can afford to get it that low because the massive options purchasing that will happen. Bob Loco, it is true, but then again, they make that vice versa as well on the bottom and onto the top. So if it drops down to the 10, they benefit. That means retail loses so much on options. Um, And a lot of people might get scared to go ahead and even dump off their shares because they think that's it. This is a dead cat. Because people like retail is still involved in the emotion game, which I don't understand why. Um, Sorry, I'll take that back. I understand why, because it's something that they are just getting in, even though it's been a year. But on the other side, they've been doing this for so many years. But if you can cancel out that way of thinking when you remember that buy and hold is the biggest problem to them. They can't, no matter what they do, they cannot do anything about hold. They need the shares, and the market can't continue to stay prisoner to all this stuff. I mean, they are willing, and they showed that that's the case, and they will do this. They will crash the market before they pay out the apes. This is how greedy and terrible the other side is. Um, there have been so many ways, different ways to handle this, but of course, again, none of them want to part way with any of their money that they unrightfully took from many of us, anyways. Um, and they just don't want to let it go. When you hear stories of hedge fund managers jumping off windows and skyscrapers and stuff like that, it's because the other advantage that you guys have on these people is you're used to living this life of, not saying that it's a broke life. Obviously, everybody's living. As long as you have a roof over your head, in my opinion, you're very blessed. Because I know I've seen what terrible looks like. Okay. Um, But to these people that do stuff like that and jump and take their own lives and stuff, is because they're only used to one life. They don't know how to live month to month or, uh, you know, year to year or something like that. No, these guys, they're used to having their clothes must be all dry cleaned at all times. They never organize their own closets. They never, uh, you know, get used to depend or rely on themselves. So and they don't even think about budgeting as far as that when they go and eat. It's okay, lunch doesn't matter. They don't even think about the number. They just swipe that card and whatever. um, it's just a lifestyle that they gotten used to, and they cannot live any other lifestyle without it. So if the thought of them, like for them to think about that, that's it, they lost all their money and now they're going to be down here living, trying to live this life. They rather take their life before they do that, which is again very pathetic and cowardly and weak. But I'm just giving you like a little intel on the psychological effect that happens for these guys and why they do what they do when they get to that point. Um, it is just how it works. Um, AB Pantheon said in a comment to me that he is unsure of the future of his channel. No FUD. How do you feel about that? Hmm. Okay. Well, of course, there's no FUD in general. I mean, if the guy Pantheon is a I respect Pantheon very well, and obviously you guys know that the feeling is mutual as well. Sorry, I'm just switching the charcoals on my hookah. Obviously, I'm not smoking it much, so I'm doing a lot more talking. Um, but yeah, the respect is mutual, and at the end of the day, you gotta remember, doing this is very time consuming, extremely time consuming. As you guys can see, we could sit here for hours and talk. I enjoy this because I've made a family out of you guys, and I'm pretty sure he feels the same way, and even more because he's got even a bigger family to take care, cater for, and to think of. But um, you got to remember, he's got a lot to handle on his plate, and he's a very good person also to ask that question more in depth. But he in no way or form or shape will I ever see Pantheon becoming or being an entity that's gonna, like, for example, if he was to hypothetically speaking kill the switch on the channel to turn into a FUD against the movement. That, not in a million years. Even if somebody is saying and giving me like documents that Pantheon is a shill or a FUD, I will expunge those documents right on the spot, because I just don't see that happening. Again, he's got a family, he's got so many things. So if he is saying something like that to you, get back to him and see. Of course, we all got addicted to our pantheon, so um, it will never. It will be one of those like I will never see you. I don't want to ever see you go away. But I will for sure stay in contact with him, whether he has a channel or not. He did make it clear before that after the squeeze, he will um, consider not having a channel because again, he has to move on with his life. Everybody's got a different purpose in life, guys, and that's perfectly fine. I know we get addicted to the one people that we love and we like, and there's a way to stay in touch with them. But again, it's just his thing, his matter to tackle on that case. I just wanted to voice out my feeling if that's truly what he said to you, Adrian. They can sell them. Sorry, I believe short squeeze for AMC happening end of May, beginning of June. um, Here's the thing, Harsan. I made it very also clear on that. While that has very solid ground and DD behind it, and again, you can thank Boss and Pantheon and a couple of other guys like Bigums or Randall who covered that. I could probably not give credit to other people. I don't again like I could be forgetting, but those are the people that obviously I respect and I know the most. I follow as well. Um, so those guys covered it extensively, and they make a very bullish case for it. As far as for the cutoff time for the TSPs or the 401ks that can't be touched in those time frames, I think it's more related not to the squeeze, like to prevent them from taking advantage of the squeeze, but it's more of preventing them from touching or moving their assets in an event of a crash, so that they can all they can do is watch their savings and their hard work and their years of work dwindle down. And by the time they have access to them again in the beginning of June, they'll be having access to nothing. If they want to exercise anything, the penalties alone on that will make it worthless if they're not already worthless by then. So I totally do agree. Like they make a very, very, very interesting and very bullish case for that. But guys, remember, always keep yourself grounded. As I said, before the weekend came in, I told you don't buy too much into this hype of the DTCC haircuts and everything so that you're already coming in on Monday wishing that Saturday and Sunday are already slashed out of the calendar, and see Monday expecting that margin calls will go through. Even if margin calls are dished out, keep remembering, guys, that the other party, the people that are affected by the margin, if they get margined, they can go ahead and sell shares or positions and other assets just so that they can, or they can get money from somewhere, like what happened with Melvin and Citadel last year. Uh, they can get money and the collateral needed to go ahead and cover that margin basis so that they get out of the margin and then deal with it in-house between each other afterwards. Keep all those options. I'm not saying any of this will happen, but keep this. It's better to know this and keep your bases covered than to not know it and expect just one scenario, and then next thing you know, you get obliterated on your investment, or a destruction of your own morale, another letdown. It's simple. Again, it's as simple as they can't get out and swindle their way out of this unless you sell your position. That's why buy, they expect you to do that. Hold, they never in a million years expect you to do this. And that's the only thing they're trying to, of course, defeat is that mindset, because it forms more danger to them for the future, not just in those plays. Those plays are done deal and they're documented. Unless we give up on them, they're done deal. It's a win. It's already a win. It's just waiting to be documented. That's it and stamped. They're worried about the future. If everybody's going to keep this mindset of, okay, we just buy and hold, then they're definitely very screwed on that, um, because the only way that they can make money then is by constantly manipulating the stock via options, um, and they can't continue to do that because the system can't afford to keep having the whole stock market held hostage to this predatory actions. We've been hostage. This whole market has been a hostage for over 2 years now because of these meme stocks. And they can't. They want to kill this movement and they don't want it to occur again. It's as simple as that. Um, Any words eject outside of my mind will never address pantheon negativity. That's it. Of course. Yeah. Who's calling? What? Am I? Oh, pantheon is in here. I didn't see. Whoa. I guess I need to be more careful with what I say to whom. Um, well, how are you doing, my friend Pantheon? I don't think obviously Adrian is Adrian is a big, Adrian very well. He's a very big follower and fan of yours, Pantheon. So how did this become a discussion about me being a shill? It's not a discussion. You walked in at the right amount, perfect time, I guess. He's not. He's just waiting because he knows my level of respect to you. So he's asking one brother about another brother. I believe that's what it is, and hopefully I'm speaking for Adrian here in the right, obviously manner, and that's the intent. Um, it's stuff like this why I am pausing my show. Misinformation everywhere. Pantheon is definitely my brother. I don't care what anyone says or puts out. I will meet him in Singapore. It's definitely going to happen. Yes, see? So Pantheon, uh, he just cleared. Adrian just cleared. He was just asking. Um, I believe if I go back to what was said, yeah, he just said AB Pantheon said in a comment to me that he's unsure of the future of his channel. No FUD. How do you feel about that? Yeah, I mean, I think that's an emotional just statement coming out. It was obviously not labeling any FUD about the great Pantheon. Sammy boy, how are you doing? Nice smoking pipe. Shisha. Of course it is. Double apple. And the hose is red. It matches the hookah red and black. The TSP is about making people aware that you will be locked out of making changes from May 26th to June 7th. Be aware and prepare as you best want. Yep. Yep. Yes, indeed. Pantheon, we trust you, and most regular viewers, people know your character and don't believe the shells talk of nonsense about you. See, even Big B as well says the same thing. Who's calling me a shell? Who needs a stone cold stunner? No one is Pantheon. AB will not allow anybody to, anyways, you know, call Pantheon anything, whether on his stream or any other streams. Any words eject outside of my mind will never address Pantheon negativity. That's it. Yes. I'm saying the shills talk about you. I don't know Big B who or which shills are they are. Maybe you can tell Pantheon who they are, so he can definitely dish out the Stone Cold Stunners. And yeah, if he needs, I could be more than happy for a tag team match. Join in on the Stone Cold Stunners. I would love to dish out some. Who are the shills bashing me now? Stunners are ready for all. Yep, I agree. Yes, sir, brother. Gonna do it. Stone cold. You see, guys, I feel definitely like for what Pantheon goes through. Like, I remember he addressed the whole situation of, that video with Froggy and everybody like this. And again, he was an outside person to this whole situation. But I loved and respected the most how they rallied around each other, came around and addressed the matter, kept the most important thing and fact in this whole situation. He kept, they all of them came together and said the community's best interest is the most important thing at hand. And that's one thing I can respect the most. Um, it's dead, it's nipped in the butt. And I think that any other like bots, hedgies would definitely benefit a lot from continuing that. They were loving that stuff. So they killed it and now it's over, it's dead. Anybody else, if there's a YouTuber out there that is dishing out stuff like this, one, you guys as viewers that view me or obviously view Pantheon, you know his character. So you should automatically, if someone speaks in a certain manner, and I encourage this. Again, you guys are all. I'm never gonna influence anybody to do or say something, but I'll tell you this: please, you know that person's mentality or the person's personality that you are following, and for a long time you've been listening to. Don't let 5 10 minutes of talk of bullcrap talk that comes from someone else from the outside that you don't even know their intent come and try to at least make you reconsider the way you feel about the people you've been following for such a long time. You know them and you don't know the other end. Block that out and don't give them even some room to harvest or manifest this idiocy that they're trying to, whatever agenda they're trying to push out. And hopefully that just addresses that. We want to talk about the cool things, and if there's any questions about the market, guys, I'm going to follow up with the um, Razor's Edge after the Stunner. Pantheon is no shill. KB, touche to that. I entered this live stream here, my name and shells being mentioned. Pantheon. Hopefully, you heard also what I just said, or this whole time, what I've been saying. Um, no worries. There's no shills at all. That no one is even calling you a shill. Adrian was specifically just emotionally saying that in one of the comments you've mentioned that you don't you want to you're considering your future with your channel, but he didn't even call you obviously a shill or any of that. No one, I personally will not allow something like this, especially with the people that I respect and I consider as partners in this journey. And like I said, you're a person that I respect dearly, and I don't let people walk all over people I respect and my friends. And Adrian was not saying anything about that. I mean, out of everyone, you know Adrian more than I do. I just recently got hip to the great Adrian Fernandez as well. Like I said, it's just that timing that you walked in at made it seem like that's the case. Aaron Friel. How are you, Aaron? When are you coming back for another live show? See, we're all addicted to the live sweet sound, smooth sound. I can't even say it like him, obviously. The sweet, no, not the sweet, the smooth sound of Pantheon Radio. I still can't get anywhere close to it. Mickey J, see? Pantheon, the GOAT. I'm 100% for Pantheon. You speak ill on him, you speak ill on me. And I'm from Texas. I have a problem with your stupid words. Yep, I agree with Adrian as well on that. See, we're echoing the same statements, Pantheon. Yep, an asset, not a liability, for sure. Singapore. Pantheon, stay solo at AB Investments. Keep your work separate from others. Keep your plate clean, my friend. They will let you down and try to build themselves off your back. A touche to that, and definitely, my friend. Thank you so much for all the words of support. I appreciate it, and that is what you just said is extremely true for sure. But at the end of the day, we got to keep ourselves neutral, and every man just speaks for himself. So if anybody is gonna also bring AB into the world of shill and FUD, then I would suggest that please, guys, don't feed into it. Encourage the people that call people out to call them out directly, not just talk about them in their streams and expect their following to, cheerlead for them and throw the oh my god the echo sound in the background. Tell them, call them out, tell them why don't you reach out to these people personally. So if anybody has an issue with me, or obviously I won't speak for Pantheon, but if anybody has anything with Pantheon or want to call him something, why don't they call him that directly, or call me that directly, um, and that's a different story then. And please bring receipts. If it's stupid, then I won't even address it. I won't even deal with it. Like Pantheon said, uh, obviously keep your work separate from others. Surround yourself with those on the same mission as you. That's the famous slogan. Words of wisdom from the great Pantheon. Infiltrators infiltrate. I don't accept BS or facts with BS entice me. Good one, Adrian. Thanks, Pantheon. There are many of us who need your support and appreciate what you do. You know, Aaron, I'm pretty sure Pantheon, again, I don't speak for him again, respects that and loves that. But he also says all the time, this is me hearing his statements, that he does what he does so that you guys can get enticed to go and do it yourself. You know, he doesn't want to ever be labeled as you need him to do something. You know, this is just a general statement. I'm not like, contradicting you, Aaron, here, of course, but this is echoing uh, Pantheon's words. Thank you, Aaron. Thanks to you as well. We'll never call the real truth. Thank you, Pantheon. I appreciate the respect. It's obviously always mutual. You're will always be a great friend of mine, and the fact that that one beautiful night show with Petra and Jordan that you did, um, what took it to a different level of like, I can't believe that somebody that I didn't know at some point that I grew to respect and consider a friend, had at some point um, at some point been to my birth grounds, and did extensive discoveries in there. What is your nationality, AB? I am originally Jordanian, Leo the Lion. But I moved, my dad, and my dad made the executive decision to move in us to the States back when I was 9 years old. And there was a big, crazy story on that. Maybe you could go back to the older content to see why did we move to the States as a kid. It was a crazy thing. It was a crazy, crazy, crazy story. It's like a movie story. It revolved around. My dad was a Supreme Court judge overseas, um, and he was tasked with ruling on the case of al-Zarqawi, which, if we don't get shadow banned now on this live chat, was the right hand man to, um, the deceased Bin Laden. So we started getting a lot of threats to my to our house before, just particularly from them. Again, Jordan is a very safe country, but just particularly to my dad, just because he was ruling on that case. So it became so much bigger and bigger, and um, you know, we came. My dad decided to bring us here. We came here, and now everything is gone because that guy ended up getting the CIA and the American CIA, of course, which are two of the top in the world um, as far as CIA's ranking. They collaborated. They seen where the guy was when he escaped prison. He went to Iraq, and you know they had an airstrike that dealt with it, and he was done. He was taken care of as the roach he is, or he was. But crazy story, right? It dives deep. If you find it and go back in the archives, you'll find it, and you can dive more deep into it. Show us the food. I can try. I'll show you the national dish of Jordan, the mansaf, later on after the stream. I'll probably upload a picture. Um, and then Pantheon. Ever notice all of them out there get their most views when they bash me, Tony, and Boss? I wonder why they constantly drop names. Yeah, I honestly, I'll be honest with you, Pantheon. The one thing for me, and I know this probably stands out for you, and it bothers you because it requires you because you're addressed in it. It takes out of your time to have to go and to read or listen to the videos that are labeling you as such. So I'm sorry, brother, you have to deal with that. But on the bright side, if you are being targeted, that means you're doing a lot of great things. That's one thing I know, and I hope you know that as well. So the positive end to that is that you are being labeled because you're doing great work, and clearly it is showing that because you're being targeted. So God won't put more energy on someone that he knows or one of his servants and backs unless he knows that they can carry that load. And I believe that you're definitely created with far more special abilities to handle and ability to carry a lot of load of your own and many others. Um, this is like my fourth cup of that Turkish coffee or Jordanian coffee with cardamom. I think I'm not gonna sleep tonight. I'm gonna turn into AB the Spider Man. Can you imagine that? The Arab Virgin. AB, I'm 100% for Pantheon, but have you verified that the Pantheon that is joining us now is indeed the fact, indeed, in fact, the Pantheon? How do we not know how he is fake Citadel chill? I'm pretty sure he's going to address you right here. Uh, well, one, I know from his profile picture and the way he talks. So I already know it's him, but let's see. It's me at Adrian Fernandez where I hear dad jokes. There you go. Is that enough for you? You guys remember that scene for Brad Pitt and Troy? Is there no one else? I can see Pantheon being that person right now. Or against all the shills. What a great movie. And Brad Pitt, oh my God, killed that movie. Killed it. Um, you had about 11 jokes lined up on my last show before I actually started live. Yeah, I don't even know how. I asked Adrian how did he come up with all these jokes. Oh my God. Look at that. Everybody loves the great Pantheon in here. And obviously, the family is all like it's all vice versa. This is why I love all of you guys. Straight up. I have my master's in psychology. I'm telling you guys, I don't just accept what I'm told. No, that's perfect. Adrian, um, don't ever, don't ever just go with what you're told. Even, you know what? Let me tell you this. And this is on a different, I'm taking it even deeper, echoing your statement. Um, as a kid, and this is a personal statement here, okay? Please don't take it out of context, guys. When I was, the beautiful thing about Jordan is we have all sorts of religions there. And everybody lives in peace and harmony because they all at the end of the day are considered just Jordanians, right? Speak the same language, same culture, same everything, but pray to it, in a different manner, to a different entity, or the same God, just in different manners. I spent all my childhood in a Catholic school, even though I'm a Muslim. I know what that side is about. Do you think that AB was born into a Muslim family? That means he by, and I know the majority of the world is like this. You are what you are born in. But truthfully, I wasn't like that. I specifically wanted from being a kid to go to that Catholic school, to be with my friends. I've seen what it is on the other side. I've been in churches. I've been in everything. I've seen, I questioned every little thing across along the way. And eventually, at this point, at 33, I'm still questioning everything in my faith every single day. You have to. You have to. You can't just be born into something and die on it. Um, that's a lazy lifestyle. So I commend you on this mindset, Aaron, Adrian. Sorry, not Aaron, Adrian. I commend you on that mindset. You always to be that. That's something that you should pride yourself in. Um, Adrian Fernandez. I even slipped in a pic of myself and Mrs. Pantheon on the pics of Petra. Believe it's me. You're a Pantheon Radio OG. Yes. Um, and finally, yes, we all in here. Those of you guys, by the way, that was there that night, you got to witness um, what Pantheon really looks for. So if you ever meet Pantheon in reality, you would know if this is the real Pantheon or not. You've seen him in face. Redwan. Serious questions, guys. I have WebEx on my mobile phone. How do I get rid of it? Um, I'm gonna speak my thing. Hope that people can address it here, but I'm gonna address it myself and say I personally have never been on that. Good thing they had like when that thing was going on. Good thing that there was a missing dot between my first name and last name, so therefore I was never able to get on that. I never had to go through it, and thanks to the graciousness of the Lord, a lot of things got exposed before anything even went further. So, gratitude to the Most High on that. Now, as far as getting rid of it, delete, and the most safe way for yourself is to change your passwords on things. If you are overly paranoid about it, and that's nothing, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to protect yourself, right? There's always ways to go ahead and change your passwords on everything. Here, let's see. Pantheon also addresses it. Maybe he knows a little more on that, or a little more depth. Did you download it from an email link, or did you download it from the Apple Store on your own? This is important. Actually, yes, that makes a big difference. Um, as far as if you downloaded it from your from the like, let's say you went to the Play Store. I have Android, or if you went to Apple and you download it from there, you're downloading a version that obviously uh, covered by the not it's not from a third party that is sending you this. Now, if it's sent to you via email, then it might have the platform look the same look of WebEx or something, and all that can be laid out. The layout might look the same, but the source is different, and protected by uh, it's not protected by those you know like Apple Store or the Play Store. I believe I'm covering that correctly. Future Will, welcome to the chat, brother. Welcome back. Future long press is it for 3 seconds, and then click on install. Even though I don't have Apple, I've always loved Android way more than Apple because they don't restrict you to anything. You could do so much more with Android. Again, that's my view on the thing. Um, but I love the way that when you hold like uh, Future Whale said, any app on the screen of Apple, all the apps start shaking. And I don't know why. I just get it. I start thinking like they're scared. Like, no, no, not me, not me. It's like a sacrificial system going down and they're all worried. It's me, it's me, it's not. Like they're going to a slaughterhouse. I just love that the way it looks when that happens. AB, please add Pantheon to your live. I so desperately want to accept him as being the Pantheon, but I'm having a hard time to accept it. Adrian Fernandez. Pantheon is always welcome at any given time in here. This is an open door, an open house for him. He doesn't even have to knock the door at the door. Let's see. So I'm glad that we covered everything in this. Please don't take it as I'm being disrespectful to you. No, I know you're not. There's no way. I know you're not disrespectful. Never. Um, Brendan. There's a Pantheon in Boss tonight. If there is, then I'm there. Adrian has learned well, but it is me at AB Investments. I got you on the Mass Show. Um, was that like the last time when I like what back in March? Was it you that actually orchestrated that it should go down or should happen? That if that's the case, I highly appreciate it, Pantheon. Much respect to you and to Mass and Tony. Obviously, I seen his live earlier today for a little bit, and Tony is a great respect. Thank you, Pantheon. I appreciate it. I appreciate it fully. Maybe you can start making some people mods. Will help with some of the fake accounts being made by some people. Also, what is up with Discord? Um, yeah, I've addressed it in the beginning that I'm looking into it right now. And future will, I I very very highly trust you. Here you go. Happy Eid to you, my friend. So I'm looking into that, but again, I'm not trying to add more onto my plate as much as much as possible. So there's good discords like that think tank. I have not. I personally don't know. Like I'm not there yet, but I have every intention to go in there. So for the meantime, if people want to go somewhere, join that. I don't know how you can. Maybe Pantheon can tell all of you guys. Um, but eventually when the time is right, I will. Like I'm working on it now, understanding it and trying to open one and trying to get one going, thanks to Pabloco, who's definitely turning up the fire on me all the time. So we'll see how that resolves as it goes down. Now let's see if there's any crazy movements in the after hours. But I'm glad for all the OG subscribers in here that you've seen what I was telling you when the weekend, or as the weekend was ending last Friday, to ground yourself from all the craziness that could happen, and that the hype that was going on, um, you don't want to make sure you don't fall for that bull trap. Oh, okay. Okay. So you know how, guys, I've been telling you from before about the mine apps. Like I'm bullish on Mara, Riot, and btcm. Um, Look at the cool. Like look at how this is how you know that this market is obviously always being for the powers that be, is it like controlled in to a certain manner. You've seen Riot went up 8% today, roughly 8.19. Mara went up roughly almost 7% today. BTCM went up 2%, but in the after hours, BTCM is gone up 5%. So when you see that they all are basically almost moving similarly alike, whether throughout the market or the aftermarket, they all have similar percentages. Of course, they track majority of it is the crypto world and mainly Bitcoin. So if you see a major dump in Bitcoin, you are definitely going to experience a major dump in those stocks as well, those mining companies. You see a major rise in Bitcoin, you see a major rise in those companies as well, because they're holding Bitcoins as well on their own. Um, and I have, like I said, like a huge bullish case at worst for these companies. Just the amount of bitcoins that they mined or are holding, and you can dive deeper into it. Like you can see, Mara is trying to jump in, and um, by 2023, early 2023, they're trying to upgrade all their mining ants so that they could have eventually what can be the fastest and much less energy costing hash rates and miners. They'll have the fastest hash rates. So when that happens, guys, by then I would anticipate that we possibly could have went through by then. I can imagine, this is hypothetical here, that we've been through all bitcoins that haven't been mined yet. And again, it's less than 2 million coins left. And when that is completely gone, supply and demand becomes an issue, because demand is going to be skyrocketing. The adoption has already been everywhere. Governments are employed, like obviously have employed it, and they're using it. You also got a lot of major corporations such as MicroStrategy, Tesla, and vice versa, and it goes on. Um, and those companies are all also holding it very tightly. Um, and when you see what this like coin, when this complete supply is gone, the then the demand is still going to continue to skyrocket, which causes the price to hike. Um, these companies, if they dip in the near future, like the Mars, the Riots, the BTCM, um, they could easily be great companies to be acquisitioned by different entities. Um, and when they get acquisitioned, obviously, just like what happened with Twitter, you saw with Musk buying it, they're always going to sell obviously for a profit. They owe it to their investors. And when that happens, if there is any, and there's 100% a lot of shorts on these stocks, since their valuation is way less than um, the stable market caps that you see. Like I remember Froggy said once, and I credit him for this, companies or shorts don't like to short companies that are 50 billion or higher in market cap, because simply that shows, in other words, that shows that they're very stable companies. It's not going to be a valuable option or a very smart idea to go ahead and short a company at those, like a company like that. So it's not going to be a profitable one. Go ahead, go down there and short penny stocks and companies that have no fundamental standings, not as much, or they're very shaky in very shaky places or stages of their life. And then you could profit off of, hemorrhaging that company a lot. So if they get acquisitioned like Mara, let's say it gets purchased, and there's rumors about that, by the way, but I want to keep it on like now, like it is, as just as a rumor, and it gets purchased. Let's see. Workhorse is moving very nicely. This is not something that I'm super bullish on, by the way. The meme stocks obviously moved today a little bit, and then the after hours, some of them a little bit, but I'm not extremely very bullish on that because, again, we are at levels where all these stocks were dropped from different heights, crazy heights, and now they're down to these such levels to the point where it's not very wise of them to short at these levels. Close in some shorts that results in some buy-ins, and eventually you can from that uh, get the price to move back up. People see it, obviously they jump in, which is like another form of a bull trap. Price climbs up, makes it more safe for them to short at a higher valuation so they can be more profitable as they dip it back down again, unless it's the wrong time of the year. If obviously uh, the feds start unloading assets by the end of this month or even sooner, and they do another hike of 50 points or higher, man, that'd be the wrong time to do any kind of shorting that is not natural, in my opinion, for them, because they could get it completely obliterated. Now their collateral is not as valuable as it once used to be. Obviously, liquidity on the market is extremely sacrosanct. Um, if I'm holding a penny, I want to hold on to it. There's a saying in other languages, but I'll try to translate it in English. It makes not much sense, but I'll explain what it means. They'll say, save your white penny for your black day. And what they mean by that is obviously nothing racial or anything. But your penny, right now, you have it, but one day you're going to need it a lot more. So save it for those times. And that's what institutions right now, or even banks, are going to try to do. But the way they do it is by also not just holding on and sitting on the money because it loses value. It gets, with inflation, the dollar loses value. Their holdings lose value. So they need to uh, hedge themselves against the inflation. Where's places? There's many properties, uh, long-term bonds, crypto. Obviously, stands out to be the leader in my world in that category. So many ways. Any weird rips in the aftermarket? Let me see. No, just random pump and dump schemes or stocks, penny stocks that they're making money off, daily money, so they can live to fight another day. Yeah, nothing. It's just the market as a whole is a hostage to everything that is happening. All right, let's see what we have here. Um, I think Al from B and Lou are not on our side. I still listen to them because I want to know how the enemy thinks. Art of War. Aaron, yeah, I mean, we don't know for a fact or for sure what side or what not side are they on. At the end of the day, I could care less, and you should as well. Um, I commend you on the idea that you still listen to them regardless, but it's good to make sure that they don't influence the way you think. At the end of the day, you want to keep that power only to yourself, guys. But it's good to hear other words from other people. Doesn't matter who they are, even if it's your enemy. You always want to even know your enemy more than uh, you know, more before you meet them on the battlefield. Because if you go and try to meet them on the battlefield without knowing them or anything about them, your odds are 50-50 at best. At best. But if you do your DD and you know your enemy beforehand, then you have a much higher odds than 50-50. I mean, it could be just 60-40, which is much higher than obviously 50-50, because you have some sort of idea on how you want to deal with this person. You know who you're dealing with, how they're going to, move their armies, how are they going to move their machinery, what are they going to do with their artillery, all that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff goes into it. So, good way of thinking, Aaron. Adrian Fernandez. Old thinking. A penny saved is a penny earned. Ken Griffin, a penny stole is a billion in tax-free profits. I can't deny that. No, no. I just know you were on the KC Shaw the day we made up. Have you ever worked with a friend? That question is for anybody. Hmm. Oh, okay, okay. I see what it is. Yeah, all good. So Pantheon says, I don't see either of you in the Discord at all, not as a restricted or unrestricted username. Did you two click the icon on the welcome section? You have to do that first. Pantheon, if you don't mind, can you even tell me, I'm interested, how to get on the think tank? If it's like an open thing for everybody. Um, if it's not, please also let us know what is the step, or try, what do I have to go to try to get on that, on my phone? Is it something that you download or not? I would love to be a part of something like that, to hear what most of the community is also saying in there. It's never There's never enough info or intel that you can always gather people. You can gather intel from everywhere until you can form the perfect picture in your own brain. Okay, folks, thank you for that. Go to any of Boss's videos, as well as Pantheon just mentioned. In his video description is the link to his free Discord. You need to download Discord and use his link to gain access. That was very easy. I was overcomplicating things. We'll be right on it. Um, yep, just did it. There you go, KV. Now you're in an ocean or an encyclopedia of uh, knowledge. Let me see something. I love how now people like Warren Buffett um, now are like coming out to rip Wall Street and talking about, you guys have made this into a gambling parlor and all that stuff and everything. And it's like, come on, man, cut me some slack here. Like, save me the BS. Can you guys believe he is 90? Warren Buffett, that is 91 years old. So they say basically today that the reason why We rebounded on the market today a little bit, at least what looked like that, like it was a rebound, um, because we had we had some, like, basically the bond yield past 3%. So that's a good outlook for that. But watch how that could easily change so fast. Within one day, that whole narrative can be replaced. Gotta love the media. They never run out of news to the upside or the downside. They can always change narratives left and right. Hanzo, welcome to the chat. KL, old as dirt. Let's see. Buffett. I'm trying to find a video so I can go in the Discord myself. So right now, basically, guys, this is here's the standing that we're in. From the Fed's perspective, they're trying to prevent a situation where we go from inflation to basically stagflation. And is what happens with that is basically the same thing as, the inflation is rising and rising, but it also is also accompanied with the decline in the gross domestic products, which is basically the GDP. This is why last month when it was down 1.3 or 1.4%, that those numbers came out. With the rise in inflation, basically we have stagflation on our hands right here, which is obviously showing you that this whole vehicle, it's not just the engine that is down. You can't just replace it. Also, the transmission is giving out, the fuel pump is giving out. Everything is going to give out at the same time, which will transfer us right into a very, very, very terrible recession that we haven't seen something like, that is obviously even the potentially much even worse, much, much, much worse than a 2008 situation that we had. Let me see. Boss, blunts, and then why am I not able to do this? Is it not? Okay. Okay. I see. I see. Why can't I find this? Ah, there it is. All right. Let's see. Hanzo, I'm holding strong for you, sis. Never give up. Be down 99%, 0.99%. Never sell. I love that. Um, okay, I just messaged you, Pantheon. All right, KV just messaged. I'm waiting on my update on my Discord, apparently. Got it. Accept invite. Okay. Um, Pantheon, would you let me know? Do I have to ah, top things to do here? AMC general chat, boss blunts tweet discussion. Do what do I go from here? Oh, I must complete a few more things. Verified. I have read. So Pantheon, um, I think I'm in the tank now. Is there something that I have to press to you know to see you guys or to see what's happening or ape chat basically? I think no. Seven. Who's this? Who is Wolf House? Maybe he's very behind on this kind of stuff. All right. You need to go to the read this first section. Okay. And then and click the matrix looking icon. Is it like to get, does it say get nitro? Is that what it is? Do I have to just get the nitro? Okay. When I clicked it, that number changed to 2512 instead of 2511. It's 2512 now. Am I good to go now? By the way, everyone else in here, if you have not um, joined, the Boss Blunts think tank, I would definitely personally, as your AB investment, tell you to go ahead and think on it. There's always way more. Even when we create our own Discord, guys, in the near future, there's always very like it's a great value to always get more access to more information at all times. It's always good to get as much intel. Big companies like Tesla, why you think they bought Twitter? Like access to intel, and in this world, in this digital world that we live in, the more intel that you have access to, the more influence and power you could possibly possess, you could do a lot more. Ah, Pantheon, are you Pantheon in there, or who's Shiro? Shiro welcomed AB Investments. Let's show him some love, y'all. Well, now I'm super excited. Yeah, it's AB24 on the think tank. It's my picture of the portfolio is actually an espresso picture with an art, like a kind of a flower. I take pride in what I do with my espresso sometimes. I could do some latte art. Pabloco, see, you know what I'm going through. You're overthinking Discord. You're gonna be fine. I have a few of them now because I have apparently. Oh, I see Pantheon DM'd me right here. I see you, Pantheon. Um, I have my Royal Clash account on there as well. Nice. I love this. People, isn't it true, the psychology of the fact that people love this, feeling like they're on the inside? And that was you, Big B. The other account, I was like, who's this? But I waved at you anyways. I like this. We're in the inside now. Adrian, Pantheon would love to tell you he is real. 100,000%. Much love, my friend and my brother also, Pantheon. I respect it, and definitely I'll, uh, A- AB is like a very deep well. Um, you know, I value everything that's mine and between my loved ones. Likewise. Okay, so let's see. Here's the thing, guys. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna talk now. We're gonna take advantage. You guys have obviously me. We have all of you smart, wrinkle-brained apes, and we have Pantheon also in the chat. Why don't we start firing away some real cool questions as far as what's happening? If there's anything itching in your mind um, about anything, fire it away. Um, so that we can address it, especially in these times that we're going in. Ah, Pabloco. Look at that. Now we're getting friends everywhere. So, how do you guys feel about what's basically going to happen um, across the oceans in other countries as we are thinking about stagflation and obviously badass inflation? Um, what do you guys expect the catastrophic effects of it being like? Whether if it's like this over here, what do you think is going to be like over there? um, Throw me some comments on what you think is going to be like. And with that also being said, while you guys are thinking on that and coming up with your answers on that, future Whale, what do you think about the shares being registered and locked at computer share? Is that if that's the case, if you want my output on this, again, because this is going to be something where people are going to have different opinions on it, I'm going to give you mine, and we're going to take it with a grain of salt. I think that's the biggest issue that GameStop shareholders, which is I'm one of them, unfortunately as well, or fortunately, but unfortunately in this case, are going to deal with. I did not do any registration of any of my shares. Um, Now, with this stock split that's going to happen, do you know how much money computer share are going to benefit through this? A lot, because it all has to go through them. And when like it's so crazy how they all put themselves in that position. Um, it's I personally, like I said, future will. I'm not too high on the computer share thing because you can, like, there's so many things that are against it, even as far as like processing. It's so much slower than you processing your orders on your own, and you could easily be missing out on the squeeze trying to process an order with that. Again, it's all opinionated, and you guys could definitely have some other opinions on it, but that's my take on that. Um, Big B post MOAS plays. Ooh, so it's pretty interesting. One, post MOAS, for the longest time, my idea was on cryptos in particular. To Because I think after post MOAS, we're going to be going through a very rough patch, obviously, depending on how dark it is and how long it is. So to save myself or my investment against inflation and to maintain it and possibly benefit from the future that will begin after the crash, like the system is going to completely crash to reset itself onto new standings and to new grounds. um, and now I'm completely different on that as far as the idea of crypto dumping and all that stuff after or when the MOAS is happening. Um, so it'll be interesting to see where the market falls on. Here's the thing, guys. After post MOAS, AB will personally, I'm just letting you guys know from now for this, will be straight getting into and also bringing content to you guys and educational content about the forex market. Okay, we're going to be talking forex, we're going to be talking exchange and currencies and all that stuff. It's a different world. It's very similar as far as chart analysis, but for those of you here who uses a lot of moving day averages and all that stuff, you are gonna, if you're not already hip to forex markets, you're gonna fall in love with it. And obviously the exposure to profits there are way more extensive than the stock market itself. um, but in the same time, it's also way more risky and dangerous. So it takes some time to fall into it and follow along with it, but if you get the hang of it, in that world you could easily make $1,000 turn into 40 or 50 grand in no time. And I'm not over exaggerating that statement, by the way. But that's a different realm, different world. You need to just have a mind of itself concentrated just for that, um, because it can make the stock market or trading stock trades uh, seem pretty boring once you dive in that world every day. And they talk different terms and everything is different there. You're talking about um, people who go and track 20 bits. And when you start thinking like, what is 20 bits? See, there you go right now. I don't want to, that's why I don't even want to dive in that world right now. But we will post MOAS. I will be talking that because I will be in a lot of that because it's going to be extremely important to see what happens with the market after it breaks. And it will be even more important to see what happens with the currencies and what's going to be changing to what and all that stuff because it opens a big door for a big boom, similar to a gold rush. If you guys remember the gold rush. Let's see. Ah, look at that. We got some crazy stuff in here. What do we have here as far as where did I leave off at? Pantheon said, "Actual heart silver, my friend." Yes. See, and that's also not financial advice. And yeah, Pantheon said it down there, big B, and to everyone else. Um, that's another thing, like precious metals. Um, in during the times of a recession and stagflations and inflations or whatever term you want to use for it, these things are going to be crazy, crazy. And specifically, silver is way undervalued right now. See, here's the thing, guys. The reason why physical, not paper, because again, that's kind of self-explanatory at this point. Um, Paper, it's you're investing again digital, similar to like the synthetics that the IOUs. They'll yeah, you bought gold and yeah, you bought silver, but you really own it. You don't because they took the money and now they're reinvesting it and utilizing it for their other own purposes. But you get to see that yeah, you own this much of gold or silver. So that's why physical silver is perfect. Um, let's see if somebody can confirm this for me here. Can gold be manufactured or can silver be manufactured? Who knows the answer to this? When I say manufactured, as you can create it. At Adrian Fernandez, Philippines to swim with whale sharks. That would be so fun. As long as we get out of the Manila airport. Half of my money into that, but also want to get into some quick plays to double and triple my money at Pantheon. Thank you for defending me at Whimsky Chick on that other channel. Yep, Adrian and Pantheon, you guys were already friends. Now you just became best friends. Best advice for a 22-year-old with tendies. Better question. What would you do if you were 22 and you got your tendies? Um, look at the first question. Like, folks, are you married? uh, April. Use MOAS money to become self-sufficient. Land, silver, food, storage, bullets, and guns. Help others. Give back. I like that order. I like that order. No long-term relationship. About 4 years with a college sweetheart. Ah, Whimsky chick. You were there that night. That on the at the Pantheon and Mrs. Pantheon adventure, and you've seen basically you were able to see both of them that night. So you were one of the few lucky ones, huh? I have shares registered at Computer Share, but not by choice. Merrill Lynch was selling my shares, so I transferred them to a custodial 529 account. Then they closed account, forcing me to register. Yeah, you see, that's the thing. This is the stuff like these people that like I hate from these things. Um, Honestly, at the end of the day, future well, I'm personally gonna like dig deeper for you into this and see what you could go ahead and do from this if you don't want to stay with Computer Share, obviously. Um, but I just haven't gotten, to that point because I just never trusted in that. Anything that always said that came out and was hyped about, that came out and said transfer from this to this. You guys remember what happened with the AMC share count, and the next day the company got bought out by Robinhood, and then deassembled, and all that stuff. So it was like a big fu. So I've never went into these kind of things as long as the broker that I'm dealing with is or the clearinghouse is DTCC protected. No matter how devious they are as safe as it gets at that point. Anything more, there's nothing safer than that. So anything else below can't get higher than that. Um, and I'm going to talk a little bit now to explain. I've gotten some more questions about what I said about Weeble a few days ago. And I'm going to explain to you guys now in this. And I know there are people out there that are out to spin people's narratives in a negative way to make it fit a different narrative so that they can be shielded against. So I could be basically shielded against. But I will tell you guys what I was saying when it got to that. Let's see. Before I say that, let me read these comments real quick. Uh, Ridwan, UK economy is under more pressure than a fat woman's ankles. Ridwan, are you taking Adrian Fernandez's job? KV, after the digital currency is established, how do you think it will affect the Forex market? It basically will be the new Forex market. That's what I think. And that's what the interesting part. After this, like the breakdown and the collapse of the overall stock market happens, um, we're going to see on what stone it lands. If the Forex market obviously is still with currencies, regular digital currencies, because that's what it is. I mean, digital currency, guys, all digital assets are 90 to 92% of the world's money. Like 90 to 92% of the world's money is digitalized already. You can go look that up. You don't have to take it from me. Folks, a serious relationship? Excellent. Boy, could I give you serious advice. Yeah, only had two choices, Merrill Lynch said. I could sell them and they would send me a check, or they could be sent to computer sharing and register. Yeah, it's terrible. I'm gonna check for you, future whale, to see if there's a possibility for you to retransfer them out of computer share and whatnot. And I don't know if that will cost you a bunch or not, but if it really overwhelms you or over worries you, then I just protect your bases. That's what I would say, brother. Only thing I want to dig into deeper into is Ken's and Nancy's ass to break them off real bad. I think that will be attempted murder on Nancy because she's just at that age now. So, um, but go, you got do whatever you'd like. Whatever gets you off, Adrian. You just go for it, brother. Hi everyone, AB Cello, Mrs. Tahiti. How are you, my friend? Nice to see you in here. AB, there's ape chat. You have to verify. Okay. Uh, I will verify that as well in there. I have lived my entire life in Texas outside of global travel. The Republic of Texas, County of Bexar, City of San Antonio. I absolutely don't agree with these Republicans. I'm a Republican. um, that's the thing. See, Adrian, for AB, as far as for AB, again, everybody has their own opinion. I think that we are across the aisle, whether it's Democrat or whether it's that. I personally have my own thought on the matter as they're both equally the same. Because when I look at manipulation on the market, um, and when I see them insider trading for all the members in the Congress, whether Republican or Democratic, they were all equally guilty. It was not like one side said, no, we really care about the overall best interest of the citizens, and therefore we're not going to do what we're going to do, and we're not going to participate in this uh, effery. But instead, that's not the case. They do something else, and they all that something else is the same amongst themselves. They all do all that insider trading crap and everything. I think that all this show on TV, as far as we stand for this, the conservative mindset versus the liberal mindset, and the whatever they call the open mindset, is just paparazzi to the public. That's just my input on this. Now, of course, that's an opinion. Nothing is factual, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's how I see it, Adrian. Um, You got it, Future Whale. Will the DTCC cover the shares if small brokers go bust, especially small European brokers? Now, as far as for European brokers, that I don't know, Radwan. That I personally, I will say this, I don't know. As far as for here, if they're DTCC sponsored, then they have to. That's who's that's who was the reservoir of the shares is the DTCC of all shares. So therefore, if there was given out, eventually it's going to get to a point of a bailout, because all these synthetics that are extra, everybody's going to play hot potato. Is going to say, no, we had the shares, we gave them to you. How come there's 100 extra shares of just that one share? Blah blah blah. And I'm pretty sure they're at a point where they know all this scam and all this crap that is happening, but they're just playing, they're going along with the ball game. See, at the fourth quarter, when it comes down to the last minute, where they stand and what needs to happen. I think that's what eventually is come down to. um, and there's more theories to come, but at the end of the day, there's always money to be made for them. Yes, there will be some sides to lose, but the biggest side to lose in this case is always the common citizen, not the others, because we're the majority as far as in numbers, and they're the minority in numbers. So no matter what happens, if they benefit from something, that means they're bent over, like they're gonna, on a bigger scale here, even if they lose, they gained in other aspects along this whole journey so much more, so that what they're going to give out eventually is going to be much less than what they already took in-house. Hopefully that makes any sense. That's just AB's input on this. And hopefully that answers for you, Radwan. I would do some digging for sure, um, to as far as who protects you in the European markets. A true Republican do not uh, accept bribes. I would like you to point me, Adrian. If you go in house, then I would definitely start believing in the Republican, or follow a particular party for sure, because you will be the first person I go to that I know 100% is not accepting the bribe. Um, House of Cards, my friends. Just watch. Just if you didn't watch it. Love Kevin Spacey. I mean, I'm sorry for what he had done and what he's obviously into problems and legal and law issues are about, but you can't deny the fact that the guy is a like a perfect actor for this thing. He's a denounced genius, hands down. I just love that show is nothing without him, of course. Adrian, I'm in Texas and I'm a daughter of a republic on both dad and mom side. Nice. Amen. Texas needs to be our own country. And it can. Texas and California. They both can. California's always been applying for independence, but it's never granted. Texas wants to be its own country. The US government denied it. Why they need us? We don't need them. Um, well, this is what makes the United States, my friend. Um, it's obviously Texas is crucially, and California are crucially important, um, to the complete dominance and wealth of the United States. Um, Again, the back in history, the strength of the USSR was in their coalition. Once they got divided and didn't continue to be the Soviet Union, that's when obviously the Soviet Union became just Russia and is the divided states, and obviously there's no power in that. It's called divide and conquer. I'm not gonna get into like politics of who stands to gain from that, but I will say that it is very, very, very important to know that. So what makes us so the leading force in the world is also the 50 states that we have, each single one, and obviously a navy that covers majority, if not 95% or 96% of all waters in the world. Um, so yes, American strong, my friends. Cali is gonna take over Texas. No, Cali right now is hurting. Every time there is a crash, it's always California that feels it first, gets screwed, and then it leaks out to the rest. Cali is like the heart of the, I would say, the country. The second it gets stabbed, it's only a matter of time before the rest of the other body parts get affected by it. Except when there is a 100-year snowstorm. But I get your point. Okay, so we have I'm in Cali, and everything expensive. Gas 5.79. Meal from a drive-through 11 and 13. Yes, there you go. Um, and that's still the beginning of it, and not to be the barrier of bad news. So I feel for it. No, I know 100% what you're talking about. I'm in like two, once or twice. I'm in LA or in some part of California every year, and I see it. What would 22-year-old AB do with his tendies? I'm sorry if I missed your answer before, man. Before, man, still working. Okay, folks. 22-year-old AB would do if he had tendies. If I had this opportunity back then, um, one, you have to. I'm pretty sure at 22, folks. Uh, I don't know if you've tackled this. I hope you've already tackled this. But what is your goal in life? By 22, I feel like that's enough time for someone to know what they would like to do in life. It's if you still have questions, it's fine. It's normal. Like, what it is that you want to be, what you imagine yourself as, or your goal in life is. Um, but I'm assuming that you've already, accomplished that goal or that vision of what it is that you want to do. Um, if you already encountered that and you already covered that base, then with your tendies, once you get your tendies, then you jump right into that. Again, remember, as much as people want to be, smart after tendies and in the crash and everything, and how to uh, hold off from inflation and everything, what at the end of the day it comes down to one thing, and one thing very important. It's just like investing in stocks. If you don't have conviction in the stock, you're always gonna run away from it or dump out of it very quickly, even for loss, just because you have lack of conviction into the play. So um, you only live one life. I always say that AB loves to seize the moment. So again, you're asking what AB would do at 22. If I got what I need for tendies or to cover whatever goals I had in my life, I would go for my goals. I don't care what the state of the world is. You only are going to live once, and what you never know when it's your time out. I'm not saying go and party and, that you could do at any given time. That's not a goal. Partying is not a goal. You could do that at any time. But whatever your goal is, and this is a sincere advice here, by the way, not just like what I personally think you should do. This is what I personally would have done with my attendees. If I have what I need to cover my goals in life that I've always dreamed of, then what am I waiting for? That's the main question here. I don't care about somebody else's. Everybody, listen, there's like so many ways to skin a cat. I know that's a St. Louis famous phrase, and some people don't like to hear it because it's like, why do they use that kind of stuff? Again, that's what they say. Take it for what it's worth. There's nothing wrong with it. You get the point that they're trying to say. But that's the point, is your way could be your way, my way could be my way. But what matters the most is what your goals are. Because when you follow through on them, who's going to have more conviction in their own goal more than themselves? So now you have an opportunity. You know how many people I speak to in the streets, or people that I know, that always constantly, all I hear them say is, and this is worldwide too, not just in around or surround. I guarantee you, go ask people, what would you do if you had money? Ask them that same question. Don't tell them tendies, just tell them, if you have money, what would you do? Every person will tell you something different. Oh my God, I will start my marine service company. This other person will say, I will start a green recycling something. Like, you get my point, guys. Everybody has a future and a few different idea on how they want to, what goals and what they want to do for the rest of their lives. You're 22 and you would have a golden chance of having access to all that. If you got a particular goal in mind, you go ahead and you freaking chase that goal, and you grab that goal and you clamp down on it and you bite like a saber tooth on that, and see where the adventure takes you. That's the beauty of life. Seize the moment, chase what's yours and what you set out for yourself, and be like a hound. Don't give up, whatever that is. Don't follow anybody else's. It's good to see other people, to broaden up your imagination and your information bank, but don't follow astray or follow other people's goals or plans or any of that, because the second that you reach a little hiccup along the way, you're going to be the first one to jump off the ship or the car, because you're going to be like, I don't even know this. Why didn't I do whatever I wanted to do from the get-go? You know, the great men and women in this world, uh, they all carved their own path in this world. Bezos, again, I don't like to bring these guys up, because again, but at the end of the day, they did what they did, and they are in the place that they're in because they did what they did. But Bezos took out his own, carved out his own path in life. Musk carved out his own path in this life. Um, Bill Gates carved out his own path in this life. Now, it doesn't matter how you feel or how we feel or how I even feel about what they did, but clearly the guys were after their goals. The one thing they all have in common is that they strictly followed their goals and their dreams, and they just made sure that they were so aggressively after it, whether manipulatively or not. They were set on those goals, and they made sure that they became the best in that particular lane that they were taking. So conquer a lane, get on a lane, say, this is my lane, and you pave that lane and you make it into a freeway that obviously your dedication will pave the way of how long that freeway goes, and pave it away so that for others after you to come along and enjoy uh, that beautiful pavement and that job that you have brought to better this world that we live in. So hopefully that answers it, folks. Let's see. Where did I go? La 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 la. See, there you go. College grad. I know what career I want. More looking secure in wealth and increasing. There you go. I love Five Guys. How did we get down over there? In and out is trash to Texans. I see that, but I have to tell you, Adrian, every time I land into LAX, the first thing as soon as I get out of LAX is In and Out Burger right next to that airport. But I'm yet to visit, believe it or not, Texas. So I'm waiting to save, I guess, maybe the best for last, if that's the case. So we'll see what Texas has in store for us. Great advice, AB. I have some writing, brainstorming to do. Too focused on the MOS. Well, hey, take it one brick at a time. So build a foundation one brick at a time, brother, and don't overskip any detail. Pay attention to every detail because at the end of the day, you're pertaining to yourself, not anyone else. So many ways to skin a tater. Guy got a Glock. I hope you're not carrying into the chat today as well, but welcome, brother. Always a pleasure to have you in here. Pantheon, you humbled me, brother. Thank you so much. Only a little bit. I only have a little bit, some few drops of water from the ocean that you provide. What are the dangers of lifestyle inflation, Ridwan? Ooh, good. The danger is, well, there's many all across the aisle, any way you think of. Um, Majority of it is when inflation happens and obviously supply and demand becomes more sacred. So you're going to have the important things like necessities for life, food, water, things that you need in this life, not want, but need. We'll get to the wants, but the need, those things are going to become overly expensive. Like if you were used to tomatoes, being sold for $2 or $3 a pound, you're gonna prepare yourself to look for something like tomatoes to be, because obviously the supply is much less, but the demand is also much more and continues to be the same. Now the person, the producer of tomatoes is selling for more. They know the idea of what's happening and everything. And by the way, this is why Bill Gates was for the last few years was piling up on farming land. How did he know, right? But anyways, that tomato, you can prepare yourself for buying a pound instead of $2 or $3 you were used to. With time, you can at some point see it at 8 or 7 or 8 bucks. At a point where when you go and buy, you have to make a choice. So what are we going to eat today? Veggies or meats? And that's even a different world of what will that go to. Now, on the bright side, wants are going to become so much cheaper, such as cars, houses, land, and, and many things of that nature. Anything that's not a necessity for living. So what does that open? If AB had to think about that, like in a business sense, if I had the leverage and I was good, I don't need to live month to month or week to week or paycheck to paycheck, and I had enough resources to take care of me, I would take advantage of all the wants at that time, because eventually when the need, or right now when inflation begins to uh, level out with time in the future years to come, then everything balances out. Right now, like this is wants. Think of these two hands are wants and needs. Needs in inflation goes like this, becomes much higher, and wants go down. As far as inflation, when it starts going down, and levels out to normal, this is what we're seeing. And then eventually needs become like this, and then wants keep firing away until, who knows, the next future crash, the next future dilemma. um, and right now you take care of, or inflation times, you take care of wants, hold on to them for a little bit. When they become more valuable, you get rid of them, and the cycle continues and goes on and on and on. That's just the way of life, or the circle of life. I'm not going to sing the Lion King to you guys. If you was an AMC since last year March, do you have to pay taxes on it after MOAS if you were an AMC? Sorry, I got to read that again. Michael Dixon, welcome to the chat, brother. If you was in AMC since last year, March, do you have to pay taxes on it after MOAS? Well, you have to pay taxes regardless. But now you don't have to pay you're good as far as the long term, um, you know, taxes. So you're going to be paying less tax than the actual tax that would pay if you did it within less than a year's time frame, and that's how I see it. Adrian, I view AB as the baby of Pantheon. Always said that. Well, one, I'm honored to be measured up next to the great Pantheon in any way or form or shape. Obviously, um, it's there's always I always said this. AB is always a student, no matter what. Till my last moment on this planet, AB is always a student. The second you label yourself as a teacher is the second you die, because your growth limits right there at that point. You stop taking intel, you stop downloading, and now you're just giving out. So you reached your limit right there. And I just want to be limitless in life. Um, of course, 100% I agree with you on that statement, Adrian. And I look up to obviously my elders and especially great minds like Pantheon, because I've always got a lot more to learn. I got more to learn from everyone. As I said before, guys, every single human on this planet was born with a gift. I know this. It's just up to you. And it's going to come down to you to notice what your gift is in this life. And it comes down to you to try to polish that gift as you grow and as you live out your journey in this world. Because it's obviously, as everything begins, everything has an end to it. So you guys, you don't need, obviously, you don't need, none of you need to know that from me. That's the way of life. But you have to figure out your gifts in this life. And based on that, noticing what your gifts are, you have to do a lot of self-infliction, obviously, on that reflection. And once you know what that is, now it becomes part of your journey in this life to go ahead and polish it as much as possible so that when the journey ends, um, obviously you will be left, you will leave behind a legacy um, that many more would, obviously, that's the goal, obviously, for me, would wish to build something similar to it, and obviously even better. So um, im- im- um, you motivate and inspire others based on your actions and what you have built in the time that you had on this planet. uh, let's see. What I meant, um, what I meant was, when we MOAS, most people will not remain humble and upgrade their lifestyles. Um, and Radwan, to a certain extent, I mean, I agree. That's definitely going to happen, whether foolishly or not. If they do it foolishly or not, um, you're always ultimately, when you really boil it down and you get down to the bottom of it, the people, retail deserves every penny. I see this from a complete different level, and retail deserves every little penny that they can splurge on themselves, because they have been victims. And I know I'm getting a little, I'm going to go in a little political here, but just for a quick sec. But retail and the citizen, the common citizen, doesn't matter what flag you're under. You've been victimized to the new world order that has been in the works for so many years, um, government after government, government after government, uh, to limit you under control. How do you have control? By limiting the common citizens' access to wealth. So mentally, I don't blame the people that will do stuff like that, Ridwan, because they've been deprived of that and they just want to taste and see it. Now, what would I also add to that? I just hope and wish that it doesn't become a story of lottery winners that eventually go broke after a few years. But as far as why they would behave in such manner, I totally get it. Psychologically, I get it. I understand. They've been deprived from something for so long. um, and now that they have access to it, they want to they don't know how to go about it, so they want to just go ahead and experience it to the max, to the fullest. um, I just hope everybody takes care of. This is why I do what this. This is why I'm pretty sure Pantheon does what he does. This is why Boss does what he does. This is why all these other influences that I mentioned that I don't speak for, but I vouch for, do what they do. You know, they do this so that people can have access to that lifestyle and, yeah, upgrade their lifestyles, but at the same time make sure that they never go back to the previous lifestyles they were in. So hopefully we all succeed with that. At AB, the Michael Jackson thumbnail pose was awesome too. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I have such a thing for fedoras. I know it's way out of my life, my age, but for some reason they always get scared whenever I wear. Well, it depends on where you go in this world. Uh, but yeah, fedoras are out of style apparently, but I don't care. Maybe he loves it. I bring it back into the style, and I only can wish that I could be as liquid as or fluid as Michael Jackson. If I can move like Michael Jackson, then I would say I have lived a long life, and I'm ready. I appreciate your Pantheon. Thank you for the compliment. Let's see. No Lambo. Guy got a Glock. Guy got a Glock. From your name, I can imagine you in a Caprice, a 1982 Caprice, you know, with hydraulics. Going down the street with the song playing, sipping on some fofos, wrapped in fofos. Hopefully, I hit that image. Guy got a Glock. Win Chevy. Win tractor. Dana, I can see you inviting Mrs. Tahiti and Stacia, uh, and Kim possibly as well, and I can see you guys having a lot of fun with that tractor. Win scooter. Big B, you're gonna be very energy efficient. Win Mr. Bean car. Oh my God, KV, you just brought back a lot of memories. You guys know that guy is actual genius too. I think he was a doctor, or he got a PhD in something, one of those. But he was a genius. That guy's a genius. I mean, just to do things without having to speak and be extremely funny just by showing you human reaction by body language is just a genius of its own. Like now, it's so easy to go ahead and just do stunts on people outside, like pretend whatever in public and do whatever. But that guy took it to a different level. Much respect to Mr. Bean. Wind skates. There is no Dinelli Tahoe is Chevy. Dinelli is GMC. Let's see. Let's see. Guy got a Glock. I could do a Caprice. Yeah, I mean, I would do a Caprice if it's all leathered and inside, all white on white from the inside, or all red. Ooh. When Aladdin and Jasmine flying carpet, a whole new world. If you find that, or they eventually, it's only a matter of time before they make something like that. Because they made those hovering things over the water, and I'm pretty sure they can make that flying magic carpet. Um, I'll be the first one in to buy. The only issue I would have with that is that it's going to be based on charging, and I'll be afraid if the USB was not working the night before, and I go up, to go straight into it, and next thing you know, it tells me like, that battery dying in the middle of the flight. That would be AB. If I get married, I'm signing a prenup. Radwan. No, I'm not gonna give any advice there. I'm not a married guy. You would definitely ask Mr. Pantheon. He's the one who will give the best advice on that. But I can understand based on what you have, like, what people witness and these horrible stories out there that come out as far as crazy marriages and stuff like that. JD and Fernandez. Then it was bus and boat around from town to town. Redwan, if you marry another ape, she may want one too. Get him. Like, I'm just kidding. I mean, both points are valid. Adrian, Apo Island was a boat trip. Everything got soaked. I loved it on Apo Island, as you can walk anywhere. Yeah, I can't wait to join something like this. We'll do something like this, guys, when the time is right. Big B, do you see AMC hitting $5 to $10 like Al from Boston said? AB Pantheon, you can chime in as well if you would like. Okay, Big B, I'm gonna take this on first real quick and say, and then we will chime in with Pantheon in the comment section as well, and say this: any of these levels, that question is as similar to the same question of can AMC go to $100 and above. It's the same, is the same standings. The only difference is the direction here. I can see AMC drop, and it's not going to be from shorting and whatever, because it's dangerous to short here. What I can see AMC, the reason why it's possible, again, that question here is if it's possible. The possibility is yes. Will it happen? That's an unknown. No one can tell you for sure on. But here's why it's possible: because we have a lot of institutes that are also holding shares, and these are real shares. They're not just synthetics or whatnot. And synthetics are also considered like real shares when it's time to account for shares, when the time is right, when the bell that rings. Everything is similar. When they, at the end of the day, business day, when they go ahead and count the shares and see whatever it is, oh, okay, we got all these, let's cancel them out. We just need to get back to the original float. When obviously the margins are in and they can't cover their collateral, so that happens then when the squeeze is happening. But before we get to that, if institutes like Credit Suisse, when they dumped 500 plus thousand shares not too long ago of AMC Holdings, then clearly that creates selling pressure on the stock, which brings it down. Now, I've made myself very clear yesterday on what I would prefer. Honestly, and this isn't a matter of opinion here, I would prefer, for me, for the institute, majority of them, to go ahead and unload their positions here, right now, than to deal with it up there when we're trying to rip away, and they can be utilized as a blocking tool to try to scare people off. Because when you're up in the 100, 200, 300, whatever, $400 area, and I'll tell you this: don't expect institutes to think exactly like retail. Their expectancy on returns is completely different than ours. If we're looking for 2 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 or 50,000 per share, trust me, they're looking for way less than that, because their positions are much larger than ours, and they also have a different agenda to play by. I mean, they consider themselves on the other side before they will ever consider themselves on retail side. Okay, they all sleep and wine and dine in the same country clubs, guys. You guys got to keep remembering that. But I would rather them dump shares now than to dump shares later in the movement. And it can be, again, everybody has their own opinion on this matter. But the end result is going to be the same. Here's another thing that I'll also tell you, Big B. Personally speaking, AB started with averages back in September of 2020 that were underneath $8. Okay. My average as we speak right now is above $30. Do you know why that happened? Because ultimately, I've made it very clear that my goal was always to keep loading the boat. I don't care what the price is, because if I buy a price, if I stick on having, like, keep my mind on having to get a share at the least possible amount, or getting the best for my buck mindset, um, you never know what if the train will come at any given moment and they decide that's it, it's done deal, they pull the plug and things go their way. What am I to do with a few $1,000s sitting on the side that I've originally allocated for this? You know, so my process, or my journey, again, I'm not influencing you to do the same, but my journey was to keep loading the boat no matter what, and especially on days where we have sell-offs. So when the price was in the 60s, AB was loading. When the price was in the 50s, AB was loading. When the price was in the 40s, AB was loading, and so forth, and so on, and so on, and so on. But I kept making up for that with side plays so that I can accumulate more, so I can come back and add on to my mission by adding more to my positions in GME and AMC. And the crazy thing, ultimately, like as I said, is when it's all said and done and the squeeze happens and AB unloads his positions and everything, if I go back in time, if I was waiting on the sidelines trying to get the best for my buck, when I factor that in and calculate it with what I ultimately got, even for higher averages, and now I'm up, you know, and I unloaded my positions at a much higher evaluation than even the $73. Obviously, that was the all-time high. Then I will see. To me, the numbers added up to be more profitable. So I would rather have more, even if I paid a little more for them right now, because I have so much conviction in this play, so that in the long run, when it does its thing, at that point, it's about how many did I have? Because now it's time for Judgment Day, and what you done, what you do, and what you have will speak much louder in money language to your bank account, or to my bank account, obviously. So that made more sense to me as, okay, I'm not going to worry about price target, because if I sell a share, hypothetically speaking, here at 2,000 or at 800 or 900 a share, and I bought it even at 60, what does it matter? Yes, I could sit around on the sidelines and wait for that major dip to come around. But then again, there's many things to that. AB, you don't know when they're going to pull the plug, or what level will be the level that they're set. They can't take this anymore. That's one. Two, anyone else that tells you that, oh, when it goes down to 7, that's it, it's done. Or when it goes to 40, it's done. It's squeeze time or whatever. They are just blowing smoke and blowing fog to you. No one knows truthfully when the other side runs out of, like, do anyone besides you, Big B, know what you have or what you hold in your portfolio, and how over leveraged you are in it? What else are you willing to do? Other assets, you do they know what other assets you have that you're willing to get rid of so you don't get over leveraged and margined? No one knows but you. So anyone that comes and say this point or this level or that level, they're basically blowing smoke to you. I'll tell you that. Only you know what you're holding and all that stuff. And yeah, I know I'm digging a little deeper into all this, but I'm trying to cover side questions that could branch out of that question that you brought up, Big B. Because obviously, again, like, I'm emotional for the family and for everyone. Any question I get, I put all my effort and energy into it, um, down to the tick. Um, so yeah, so that's my output on it. Possibly, if it goes down to 10 or 8, very possible, yes. Will it matter? Not any bit. In fact, it's even better. That's why I prefer that the institutes sell off right now, bringing the price down, because that opens the door for all you beautiful apes that will want to even load up more, to load up in. If they don't see the value in the stock, or if they're forced to get rid of the stock, I know you guys don't undervalue this stock. You guys see the true value of this stock and the true potential of it. So therefore, if they bring it down to 5, 6, 7, 8, you boys eat. Of course, boys and girls, but that's just a figure of speech. Eat. Now you have even more. You have all the conviction that you need, and now you have even a better reason to jump in. But if it doesn't, don't sit and wait in the sidelines and then say later, I wish, I wish. That's the biggest thing that you learn from even elderly people. I went once and seen this video of elderly people that were talking. Somehow they filmed them as they were, on their way out of life, passing away. And they asked them, what is your biggest regret in life? Or how did you live? What kind of life did you live? There were two people, either like two statements, either I wish, and a bunch of I wish, or there was many that said I lived a long life and it was more than enough. One life is more than enough if you live it right. And that's the only two. Everybody else came in those two categories. And honestly, when my life is over, I don't want it. I don't want to be the last seconds as the tape is rolling through my eyes. I don't want it to be any. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done this. I would have. I wish I would have jumped in this. Again, not any financial advice or influence here, but I'm just giving you what I think on the matter. So cover your bases. If you see an opportunity, jump on it. If you don't over leverage yourself. Jump in, save some for that day, for that moment. If it does happen, if it doesn't happen, you already have both of your feet inside the house. So if the ship takes off, you're not falling out of it. Obviously, with much love to all of you guys. Let's see where are we at. Um, I got to okay right here. CSI said maybe even $3 dip. Mm, the only way something like that happens, obviously with respect to CSI, I mean, obviously everybody, like I said, got their own opinion on the matter. The only way I see that happening is if all institutes above sell their shares, literally, like, or majority of them do that. And then again, that shouldn't matter to you guys. You guys should be more excited if that happens. I don't see the likability of it happening, but $3, that's not going to happen from shorting. Okay, I'll tell you that from here. It's extremely dangerous for them to short it anyways. It's a miracle that they're shorting this in general at these levels. In fact, at any level at this point now. But $3 is going to come if it does materialize. It could come from selling pressure, people selling off their shares. That's it, dumping it on the market, not shorting. That's two different things now. Not borrowing shares from a broker or from an entity to sell them short on the market. No, just people selling their stock, like losing interest in the stock. I don't see that happening. But if it does materialize, uh, that means there was a prearranged agreement from over a year ago between market makers, brokers, and institutes for them to jump in, scoop up a lot of shares, and they would, over a year and a half or 2 years, depending on how long this goes, they will keep making money that the initial investment they paid by buying all these shares, they will make it back throughout those 2 years of lending out the shares so that they can make their money back plus some. And then when time comes, they can just go ahead and dump those shares on the market saying we don't need this anymore. That's the only scenario that I see that dipping down to 3. And if that happens, then that was what that was the backstory. I'll tell you that from now, reading into it. But again, it's very hard. It's very hard. So who knows? Anybody could be right and anybody could be wrong on this, guys. Again, not dissing or not going off or against what anybody else says, especially another YouTuber. I forgot Sixers versus Heat. I will catch you guys on Boss's stream later. KV, enjoy. Good luck. Hopefully, you guys also enjoyed that Bucks and Celtics game yesterday because that was crazy. And that Memphis and the Golden State series is going to be a fire series. That John Morant guy is. Big B, I will not comment on anything said by YouTubers anymore. Last time Pantheon did this, he got all the shills and all the heat and everything. And not that he shies away, obviously, from any battle, but he never even intended to have one. And it just came his way. So we need unity more than destruction and division. And I respect Pantheon and the other YouTubers, whether Froggy or Mediocre or obviously Tony De Niro. All these guys are just, growing up to be growing on me and growing in my eyes even more and more by the second and by the day. Um, Even if they don't consider themselves leaders in movement, um, a lot of people look to them for obviously a lot of sense of support and sense of security. And, you know, they need to hold themselves, all of them, all of you, especially you, as also Pantheon, all of you guys need to hold yourself to a higher standard simply for the sake of the people that also have a lot of faith and believe in you guys. And rightfully so, that is well deserved as well. We all have to rally around the our people, like our own. This is our movement, and if we don't rally around each other, we'll be easily broken down when the time comes. So our unity and our strength can be felt and shown through our rallying and our solidary. Sorry if I can't even say the word much better because it's not rolling off my tongue. Um, Around each other, one for all and all for one. Adrian Fernandez. 2.5 million pesos is equivalent to 80K PHP or less. Okay, fine. 20K USD is 1 million PHP. Do that math, dummies. Redwan, what was the stock market like before COVID and all the meme stocks and the introduction of commission free brokers? What was considered a big move? Was it harder, easier to make money? In fact, okay, good, very good question, Redwan. There we go. Well, for one, it was a pretty boring market compared to these conditions, in a good way, by the way, not in a bad way. And the reason why I say a very boring market is because it wasn't as volatile back then. So back then, it was actually a little more on the investing side. Yes, corruption was even way worse than now, because we're trying to, as we're going along in this journey, we're changing things little by little by default. But the structure was set up a little more like true trading, where you are investing. You're not, now it's like gambling almost. This is the best way I can describe it. Unless you're going long on things, obviously it's like kind of like gambling in today's market atmosphere. Now, the introduction of free commission brokers, I freaking love it. And here's the controversial statement that everybody was waiting for. That obviously, and I'll tell you why. And what was considered a big move? Of course, big move. If you see it as such, if again, even the darkest of alleys, you can still find some good things there to, if you choose to look for them. And here's how. Was it harder or easier to make money? It was a little more sophisticated, but it was less risky. Okay. So, in a way, you have a little bit of both sides. Here's why that controversial statement, guys. I told you guys that AB uses Webull. Not as my long broker. Okay, use difference like TD Ameritrade and Fidelity. But why do I use Webull? For what do I use Webull? That's the question you need to ask for yourself. You can find a hidden gem even amongst all the ashes and the charcoals in the world. Webull has a very good charting system. That's one. Two, it gives you access to pre-market and aftermarket trading starting at 4 all the way down to 8. And it's commission free. Again, I echo that, commission free. So, how AB sticks it to the other side, to the market maker or to the hedge fund, I understand market maker is paying payment for order flow to these apps to send them, you know, the orders. Well, here's the thing. Why would I go and do my day trading? Because I'm a day trader. Why do I go do my day trading on non-commission based uh, companies or platforms where I will pay on each day trade? I pay every transaction, I pay a certain fee on it. Why would I do that when I can easily go and have all the amazing qualities of a day trade that I need to execute on Webull? Again, I don't care what payment for order flow they're going to do. I'm not going long on any of these stocks. I am sticking it to the market maker. He's paying for a paper trail that makes 0 cents because, again, my order is in and out right before 6 a.m. I'm already done with all my day trades in the pre market. As far as after that, I'm just taking funds from here, the money, the profits I make from my Webull day trades. I take them out, I transfer them to my bank, then transfer them over to my TD Ameritrade or Fidelity, and I buy I add to my position, my options on my long commission free. So I'm not helping the Weebles. I'm not telling anyone. I understand people think of Robin Hoods and the Weebles like, oh, um, you can't. Well, Robin Hood, of course, done deal because again, their pre-market is a 6, so it's pointless. If you get in at 6 in the morning, you're already 65, 75% gonna be walking in for a loss. Just to tell you, just to keep it straightforward with you guys on the pre-market standing. Normally, first when it first opens up at 4 in the morning, if you don't have access to 4 in the morning, as soon as it pops open, you're already at a 50 to 60% disadvantage of losing after that. That first initial pop you get at 4 in the morning, you time your entry perfectly, not right off the bat. You see what stock is has the volume, where's the VWAP, everything. You see the stock, you allocate it, you keep your mind and your attention on one, maximum two. This is just AB not giving financial advice, but telling you my formula here on some of the plays, because sometimes you don't even need to know what the company does. I don't even know, like many day trade plays, I don't even know what the company is about. I just see them moving. I look at the chart. That's all I care about. I'm not marrying the company for the next whatever. It's only going to be a quickie. I'm sorry to describe it as such, but it's only going to be a quickie. So I don't need to know your median name. I don't need to be with it forever. I'm just going in and I'm leaving and I'm never going to see you again. That's how I see that stock. So I see 4 in the morning. I go in, I see which one is showing the volume, the strength. If I see some stupid volume, like a stock like BBIG this morning, for example, moved up 7% as soon as it opened on what? On 3,000 volume. I knew instantly like that was just the surge of as soon as it opened. But after you gave it some time and you see it, oh my God, look, 30 minutes later, it's just been on a down movement after that, never up. So anybody that jumped in that time frame, they're bag holding already. Like they just didn't know it. And it was just a matter of time before they see it, minutes away from seeing it. So always see where's the volume. If that's the most important thing is volume in the day trading world, first of all. And when you see the after that, you look at the candles, you see where it is at. You look at levels of resistance and you look at levels of support. After that first initial pop from wherever it takes, and then after it comes down, you will see both at that point, you'll see where's your highest resistance and where's your, uh, your support. And once you get a couple of movement, like you give it some time and you see really if it's testing or if it's respecting the levels of support or if it's respecting the levels of resistance or breaking them, at that point, you know when to go in for an entry. And once you go in on that entry, you also have to have your solidity mindset of knowing when to exit, because you also have to see where's your level of resistance. And as a day trader, you can't get caught in and say, I hope, or get emotionally invested. You already have to know you're in, and you have to know what you're going to be okay with going out. Because this is a long day trading is a marathon. It's not a race. Just to tell you what mindset you got to walk in with. So after a year of doing that behavior on a daily base, come back, and I guarantee you, if you carry and you stick to your guns and you don't just go in and emotionally get overboard and get crazy, you can make 360,000 dollars in a year off of just doing day trading while you holding long plays or long positions in other plays without even touching them. It's, guys, it is so much easier than what many places make it seem to be. And that's why I say focus on one to two things as far as trades and day trading. Get Squeeze them out, get what you get out of them, move on for the next day. Don't be over greedy and try to stick for a long time, because after that you turn into a bag holder for a long time. The idea of it, again, it's not a race, it is a marathon for day traders. It's two different mindsets: for long holding mindset, long position, like what we're doing with AMC and GME, and for day trading. It's it's just completely different. So this is why AB tells you, when I saw all these advantages, I figured out a way to take advantage of a platform like Webull. I take advantage of them. You want to take advantage of me? No, no, I don't let you take advantage of me. I take advantage of you. Your free commission. I can just come in, get money in the morning on the free market, utilize the advantages you provide, and I don't need to go to my TD Ameritrade or my Fidelity accounts to do my day trading, because I'll be paying commissions on each order. So day trading, I don't care. Like, the market maker is paying the Webull for payment for order flow. What intel is Webull gonna give the market maker about what I did? They're gonna give them a bunch of papers saying, okay, um, well, I know you're paying us for this information, this payment for order flow, Mr. Market Maker, but unfortunately, this particular customer, we don't have anything on him. He doesn't have long positions. So hopefully this info can be beneficial to you. Obviously, I'm screwing that platform and I'm squeezing all the benefits of that platform. So when people say, no, Webull, you're part of the problem or whatever, it's like, you need to understand, how could you take the benefits of something that is bad? Yes, Webull is bad. Payment for order flow is bad. But is there still some value in that? When there is a car and it's completely totaled, do you think it just get thrown? They will take every piece out of it that is still functional, because there's value still and some form of value in it. So Webull is like a totaled car to me, but guess what? It still has some value. I could utilize, again, I'll name the bullet points here for the last time. I have access to pre-market and aftermarket trading, 4 till 8, which a lot of platforms don't even provide you with. That's one. Two, great charting tool, which a lot of platforms are overly complicated with having to pay. That's two. And three, and that's the most important thing, it is commission free. So I take advantage of them and their platform and keep 100% of all my profits. Now, here's the little more sophistication for you guys on this. You might have this one person that might pop up in the live stream uh, and say, well, You're dealing with the market maker on your day trades. That market maker is going to make a lot off of your spread between the spread. Well, guess what? I, once I make my profits, I don't care about what he makes on the other side or what they make on the other side. Because if I go and do it with my uh, commission based uh, brokers, then I'm paying more. I'm paying the market maker is going to make his money regardless there, even if they say there's better execution. And I'm going to pay the broker for their trouble and for processing the order. So I will have the need to have to wait for possibly wait for riskier, higher prices so I can make it worth my time. Why would I do that? I have Webull here for me to do that. I make money from there. I make my money on there. Then I transfer the money I made there over to my actual brokers, my the brokers that I carry my long positions and my options in, and I process everything there. Done deal. I don't have any long positions in Webull. Again, I'm not influencing anybody to go ahead and please use my Webull link in the chat or whatever. As you can see, I don't have one in the description and all that stuff, but I'm just giving you a thought that no other YouTuber have brought out because everybody focus always on the narrative. If it's terrible, they only see the negativity, but they don't see the positives in something. Keep your brain open and always unlocked for every possibility because again, what you don't see could either be very good or extremely terrible for you. But it's always better to know it all or see it all and keeping yourself open for all possibilities so that you can decide for yourself and reap the rewards or protect yourself, in other words, as well. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And that's my controversial statement. Easy as that. Um, Weeble and Fidelity are my two. About 1 to 10 ratio though. Do like Weeble's charts? Yeah, they're not bad. They're good charts. This life is a gym. Well, that's kind of you. If it's a gym because of the people that are in it, folks. All of you guys, beautiful wrinkle brained apes. LOL. Only AB can compare a quickie to a stock play. Sorry, that's the first thing that came to mind. Hey, Pam the Trader, how are you, my friend? It's always a lovely occasion to run or come across you anywhere, obviously. And I look forward to meeting you one day as well. And, that will be a great honor, of course. Just listening and can't read chat, but wanted to pop in and say hello. That's gracious of you. Thank you so much. Brendan and Ella, payment for order flow or not ever every broker swims from the top. Hmm. Sorry, Brendan. Um, Retail can't change how the brokerage firm make money. We can only do lit exchange buys. That's it. Yes. Um, and again, if Brendan, to make my point again, all my long positions are AMC shares or GME shares or any of my other meme stock positions that I own. They're all on lit exchange brokerages. My day trade activity, my money making machine. Yeah, I compare Webull as to the hood. So I go down to the hood and I hustle, and my hustling money I transferred over to my lit exchange brokerages to buy more exchanges. So I dance for my meal. That's a saying that we say, or people used to say back in the days. Um, I dance for my supper. How will the world economy look like when everyone becomes a shib millionaire? Or will the likes of Ken enter the crypto world to put an end to that. The likes of Ken is already months into becoming a market maker in that world, in that realm. So yeah, good luck with that, and we'll see how that will be like. But that's all speculative, so we'll see how that will play out at that time. Alrighty, my dear friends, I am gonna wrap up in the next 5 minutes. It's been a very fun and eventful and unnoticeable 3.5 hours. I didn't even notice. Um, that's been just an amazing time with you guys. So if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and shower us with them. If you don't, show your emojis and your goodbye songs. Thank you, Mickey J. You do the same, brother. Thanks all for following, subscribing and liking. Appreciate all your questions. Appreciate all your support, guys. Again, it makes me feel on top of the world to know that I have a family backing me up, and all of you guys are behind me. Brendan Ella, I didn't know you're a chip and now I'm not that, of course, or to that point. But at least I'll try to dance for my supper. The Chippendales dance for wealth. I dance for my supper, so I'm much lower standard. All right, all right. So no more questions. Down, 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 down. All right, all my beautiful and wonderful apes, wrinkled brained apes. Um, Thank you again so much for everything. Appreciate the time and the opportunity that you guys always give me on a daily basis or every time I come on live. And thank you for your time. I highly value your time as much as I value mine. I value yours even more. So, once again, thank you so much for your support, guys. And with that being said, much love, AB Investments.